What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack.
Isn't it wild that they couldn't break 5 million live viewers on YouTube? And fucking Phil Godlewski has hit his audience convinced. He has like 20, 60 million people, 80 million people watching him at all times. Kid Rock's lip sync was so bad. So bad, dude. I don't know if he was out of sync or what, but it was bad. Oh, I'm supposed to stop the music. Hold on. And fire up Facebook. Oh, I think it actually worked that time. I didn't have to do it twice. Hold on. Just a second, then we'll start. Come on. Refresh. There it is. All right. Give me just a second. Share now. Share now. Share now. That's right. Like, share. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Super Bowl Sunday. It wasn't great. It was a really bad game. Like I didn't have a team picked out or nothing, but it was just this wasn't a good game. Seahawks won, so there you go. I don't know if anybody was cheering for them, but yay. I do know I was following a TikToker. I can't find him right now, but I was following a TikToker that put his life savings on the Seattle Seahawks. I think it was $33,000 or some shit. So, clearly, it seemed like he showed all the receipts. He bet $33,000 on the Seahawks. He could have been lying, right, for shit, but whatever. Seemed legit. So, we'll see. I'm sure he'll pop up soon. You are logged in as Jeffrey Epstein. These are real emails released by Congress. Explore name, contribute, started. Okay. This person has a connection. I guess you guys know that there's jmail.world, right? You guys know what? The fucking Tapusa halftime show sucked ass. It sucked ass, dude. It was bad. Kid Rock, hold on. Let me show you how bad Kid Rock was out of sync before we go over to this. I can't play his music, can I? I'll get a copyright strike. Like the whole time where he's not saying anything is where all the lyrics are. And it was just so bad. It was so bad. I don't know if he has monitors in. I don't know if his monitors were that bad out of sync or what. But like the crowd was singing with the song. He was lip syncing. The lip syncing was off by a good, like a fucking, I don't know, by a couple minutes. Like it was so bad. And then he's trying to reintroduce himself. So I saw him and Benny Johnson did an interview. And they're like, what? Benny Johnson's like, what can we expect? He's like, I don't want to give it away, but you're going to see normal me, and then you're going to see something new. And Benny Johnson asked him again at the end of that interview, what are we going to see? And he says, you're going to see normal me, and you're going to see something new. So he does that ball with the ball song. He does it. Then he goes away. Then he comes back under his real name. Okay? They introduce him under his real name, which is Robert Ritchie, I think. Robert Ritchie. So they introduced him. They're like, and now, so they already introduced him as Kid Rock, but then they're like, and now Robert Ritchie, and he comes back and he sings some song about, I don't know, taking a chance before it's gone or something, before you die. And he does 2 verses of that, and then he goes into a monologue about how something like God woke him up in the middle of the night and told him the song wasn't done. It needed a new verse. And he had a dream about it, and the new verse was like, there's a Bible with dust on it. You need to get the dust off of it and get saved or something. It was so weird. Such a weird, like, placating to TPUSA, I guess, to Pusa. While his other song he sings is about bitches with big fat titties and shit. Like, the strippers on the pole with their big old titties. I don't know. It was stupid. Now, back to this lady. You guys know what Jmail is, right? So Jmail is this account. I know it looks like Gmail, but it's called jmail.world. And it is it's a hard drive, which J drive, and a Gmail account, right? And all these things fly. So you got Jmail, J Photos, J Drive, and J Flights. All these websites are together, and it's like you're logged in to Jeffrey Epstein's accounts. Okay? Everything that's been released, they've uploaded to this account. So this is his J Photos instead of G Photos, like Google Photos. It's J Photos, and it's even got all the redacted ones, but it's got all the photos uploaded, and they're sorted by date. So, and the same thing with his emails. If you go back to Jmail, these are all his emails by date. Like, literally, someone sent him one as soon as his email address was leaked on August 13, 2019, and it's from Cody Rudland, and it says, "You are dead." Like, that's the last email that was received here before the email account got shut down. So you go all the way through these, and it's got every email. The J Drive has a bunch of different things saved on it, whatever. There's been a bunch of rumors. This is the J Drive, all these documents that were released and redacted. There's been a bunch of rumors going on around, like they were trying to shut it down, and they were tracking people who went to it, and just crazy stuff, right? This is the J Flights one. It's got all the flights that we know of. It's got the Lolita Express flights. It's got all the passengers. It's all works together, right? It's a really cool project that someone's been putting together. But there was all these rumors around that it was going to get shut down, and the government was tracking who did it and did blah, 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 whatever. Apparently, this TikToker made a video about it. We would have to go back to see their other video. And the creators reach out to her. The creators of Jmail reach out to her. So the one we were just going to watch was this one.
Creators of
Jmail.world.
Hitler and Stalin.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. We'll find her video in a second. But she's got new information from the creators. So let's go back to that video. Here you go.
Gmail.world reached out to me specifically to ask if I could clarify a few things.
I like the halftime show.
Their website that they created, Gmail.world. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a website that went through the 3 million documents that the DOJ released, organized them all into a website that looks exactly like JE's email. You can find all content that has been released perfectly organized within this website. You can search different things. You can avoid seeing things you don't want to see. You can see his Amazon list and attachments and VR, videos, photos, everything is in there, and it's all organized. I made a post about this, but there was a lot of questions in there, and so they wanted to clarify a few things. I'm going to summarize the DM that she sent for time purposes, but it's going to be long, and I'm going to talk fast, so I need for you to lock in. Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Number one, they have been live since November of 25. There's a misconception that they just launched the website. It's not true. It has been live since November. Next, and this is awesome, the group is made up of 12 tech students. Read this next part. It's important for the safety of those involved. Only those who have chosen to acknowledge their involvement or have burned themselves digitally into the creation process are going to speak publicly. We can all understand that. She says, we would really prefer to keep the focus on holding those in power accountable for the heinous action, trafficking, and murking and cover-ups associated with JE rather than make it about us in any way. I love them. Next, and this was asked a lot, the site is on a very secure server and hosted network. Misinformation has been spread that users have been phished
He did not do a great job, Weld. You're right.
or received malware upon visiting the site. That is categorically false. We do not want to put energy into tracking down where that lie was first published, as we feel it would take away from precious time we can use to put into making our project much more user-friendly, but we would like for it to stop. Next, the site is not being taken down or forced down by the government. Listen to this. She says, we paid out of pocket for the server space and have never expected this much traffic. We are putting our own money into the site build and maintaining it. We only just 72 hours ago added this, I can't say it, in hopes that users might donate to the project should they feel compelled and have the means, so that forced crashes can stop altogether.
I don't know if anybody's big. Well, I know some people are Patriot fans. I don't know if anybody's big Seahawks fans. I'm a neither fan. I don't even watch sports, but I like a close game, like a nail biter. I don't know. That's my thing.
I would like to interject. This is quite literally a site of 12 brilliant minds that came together. A project by the people for the people. They went through themselves, organized these documents for us, all by their own means, time, and energy. If you are able to donate, that would be something to consider. Next, if the government were to remove any site or others that we've published, which you can find in her bio, then users would see a federal notice saying the site has been shut down by order of a Fed LEA, likely FBI or DHS. So in the event something like that happens, there will be a notice on the website. Next, she says, regardless of political beliefs and or affiliation, the point we want to bring to everyone's attention is what has been going on for far too long, who had a hand in it, and holding them accountable. Goes on to say, we do have other apps coming to Gmail. Now, if you're in the site, you'll know what she means by apps. It's in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah, the whole Kraft family is heavily Republican.
We do have the original documents that the DOJ published prior to doing a bunch of dirty deletes. Our scraping is set to automatically download as soon as the files are published and then push notify all of us on the project so that we can be eyes on as soon as possible. Next, and this is awesome. AI has not been...
Well, so it doesn't matter if the Patriots win or not as far as QAnon, because if the Patriots win, QAnon thinks it's a fucking comm. And if they lose, they think that that's the last remnants of the deep state trying to pretend like they still have power, but they don't.
Use. This is hours and hours of complex engineering and coding. So where there is AI within the site itself, they did not use AI to create this website. Brilliant. I'm sure they will be in the comment section reading, answering questions. Please express your gratitude to them for taking on such an enormous project for all of us to be able to navigate this website with ease.
It is a pretty cool project. If you want the emails to make more sense, because the way the DOJ put them, and you go through one document at a time, even when you search, their search is fucked up. Like, when you search, let's say you search a keyword. Like earlier, I was on there searching pizza because Pizzagate or whatever, and I searched it, and it brings you to one document, and that's it. And then you leave, you go to the next document, and you can tell they were in an email chain. Why don't you bring up those fucking documents together? But on Gmail, it does that. It's a lot better to search through. It's a cool project.
Able to contribute to the ongoing of this project. I know I would greatly appreciate it, and it's not even my project. This is not a sponsored post. I am trying to do my part and support them in any way that I possibly can. If you can, please share and comment, because that seems to be what's pushing these out into the algorithm more. I love you all so much. Please stay safe, drink your water, take time for your mental health. This is a lot. I love you so much. I'll talk to you later. The creators of jmail.world reached out.
I want to see what video she made that prompted them to reach out to her. That's what I was looking for earlier. Is it one of these pin videos? Is that video that we just read was just the website you need to bookmark, maybe? 2
websites you have to save right now. First of all, this is the first
5 days ago
on my feed this morning.
ICE activity across the United States is now visible on a publicly accessible nationwide map.
IceMap.dev.
It's running a volunteer-based interactive map, essentially using a tool to scrape the internet of all live data and then put it into this one map for people to be able to track what immigration enforcement is doing. Raids, arrests, everything. Additionally, within those little pins, it will give you an entire summary of the detention center itself.
It's like it's an ICE heat map where you can see all kinds of shit going on.
All recent inspections and what the conclusions of those inspections are, the open cases and how recent the cases have been opened. Additional, another map that I found on freedomforimmigrants.org. You have to go to this one on your desktop. You can't. It's really hard to navigate on a phone. This one shows you all current facilities that are open, all asylum grants and denials, any sickness concern, any medical concern, any Section 287G agreements, which means that immigration has contracts with that law enforcement to obtain immigrants or make arrests, right? Because they're just arresting anybody at this point. The litigation and court mandated releases, vaccine concerns, and any companies within that area that have donated to those facilities. facilities that we know exactly where not to put our money. These are wildly useful. Please share this. You know they're not going to push it. And this to literally anybody in any area at this point because they're all coming. These two people went through and took all of the files.
Oh, there it is.
A perfect little website called jmail.world. Website looks exactly like Jeffrey's email. You can search it through inbox, right? The dates that his emails were received, starred, sent emails, and the date that they were sent, all attachments that were in the email. And you can go through by contact, and you can click on one of those, and it'll be all the emails associated with that person. Then you can mosey on over here. You can click this. There's Jmail, JPhotos, where all of the photos are listed. JDrive, which is where all of the documents are organized, and you can search by person, by mention. Then you can go down to JFlights, and you can see all of the flights that were taken in log, including the passengers that he had on them, to and from, where they're coming from, where they were going. Then you can go to JVR. There's 3D experiences of his entire mansion. Then you can go to JAmazon. Wait, this gets so there's so much JAmazon, and you can see all of the purchases that he ordered and received from Amazon. There are children's toys in there. If you click on JDrive, and that opens up over there, you can go to Kino videos, and then there's all the videos that are listed in there. And mind you, this whole time you can search through anything. You can go to Gemini, and then you can ask it any question that you want, and it will search the files for. People who updated this, or I'm sorry, who created this are Luke Eigel and Riley Walls in November of 2025, and they've been updating it the entire time. Every time there's a new drop, they update it and organize it from there.
It is a good website, jmail.world, if you want to use it.
Disgusting because you don't want to sift through 3 million documents. They organize every single thing to make it easy for all of us just to look whatever it is that we want to find. Anyway, I love you so much. Drink water. I'll talk to you later. These two people went through and took all of the files, organized them, and
I did not know about the Jodify, Gemini, JAmazon, JVR, JMessages, Jacebook. These are the friends of Jeffrey Epstein on Facebook and their news feeds at the time. Holy shit. That's Jacebook. What else do we have? We're in the new files there. Okay. Volume now is now browsable on JDrives. Volumes 10 through 11 of DOJ's 1 million document dump in Jmail. JMessages. Steve, this message is back and forth between him and Steve Bannon, Larry Summers. Damn. Okay, JMessages, got that. Jamazon, JVR. What is JVR? Oh, this is the tour of his mansion. 3D scan of his mansion. I guess that's just the front door, huh? A 3D rendering. That's pretty cool. Street view, front entrance, damaged doorway. Oh, I guess where they busted in. What else do we have? That's Spotify, but it's Jodify. They got his music playlist. Jesus fucking Christ. Gemini, which is the AI that runs on Jeffrey Epstein shit. Videos and Kino. That's what I was looking for. I have not seen the videos. Most interesting jail footage. Epstein interviews. Ghislaine Maxwell. Tropical garden landscape. Landscape design. Private ground jet operations. Hand-drawn spiral. Spatial planning diagram. Girl sleeping in living room. What a creepy I know you guys can't see that because it's off to the side. What a creepy fucking video. Young girl sleeps soundly on patterned sofa. Dark blanket covers her in stylized interior. Soft light. It's like a 1 second video. I'm sorry. It's a 2 second video of a young girl asleep on the couch at Jeffrey Epstein's place, I guess. A modern bedroom interior. Private jet cabin. They're all super. They're super short because they're live photos, right? Doesn't Apple still do that thing where when you take a photo, it's actually like a fucking 1 second clip of shit? so you can go back and pick the photo you actually want. Does Apple? I haven't had an iPhone in forever. Does Apple still do that?
Less than a year, and we've already launched now in 6 different markets. We have had a lot of success because from an employer standpoint, this is a win-win. We help.
This is creepy, dude.
To care faster, and we save them money. In some cases, we've actually reduced absenteeism close to 11% in some of our employer clients, and of course, they love that.
ZocDoc for business is what that one's about.
They're healthier, they save money, and they're working.
To be in the awareness in which you can see and shift body, mind, ego,
Deepak Chopra on Meta Human Awakening.
and the world.
Is Weld back? Okay, I see him now. How fucking creepy is this shit? Are these just audios?
This is Deepak, and I am leaving a message.
Hi Jeff, this is Deepak. So I got your 2 messages, and I just finished my morning yoga class, and I have to meet somebody at 8, and then I'm taking a flight to Nantucket.
This guy's like a,
And actually,
if I remember correctly, this guy's like a weirdo, like new age, alternative medicine guru, right? Deepak Chopra, I think's his name.
to this, there's a lot of excitement around this Nantucket project, and it seems the whole town is coming. And a friend of mine, Elizabeth Backley, who's with Hillary all the time and is leaving the campaign trail to come, and I'm staying at the home of Johnson and Johnson, whatever that is. The Kennedys are coming, and it's like the talk of the town, and the local newspaper has an article.
Peter Attia, right? Wasn't that the doctor? Dr. Attia wrote the book and all that shit. He's in the Epstein files now, pretty heavily, even though he said he had a falling out. Now he's like, I was trying to tell him that he needed to apologize to his victims and get them therapy. That's what I was doing.
Apparently, then I'm the biggest charlatan in the universe. But
Ricky Martin and Lady Gaga sang. I think Cardi B and some others were dancing. Some people say that a little boy. So at one point, Bad Bunny hands his Grammy to a little boy that's watching on the TV. And I just thought that's like, because it was sitting with an older gentleman. I thought that was supposed to like symbolize that was him giving it to a younger version of himself, sitting in front of the TV and dreaming that he was going to be, famous one day or something. Some people said it's that Liam Ramos kid. I don't think that's been confirmed, but the kid that was deported by ICE with his dad or whatever and used as bait. Well, they tried to deport him. A judge actually had him released. Someone said it was him, but I don't know if that's true or not.
I'm really looking forward to it. They have 7 cameras. They're going to do 2 filmings, one tonight and one tomorrow night. So let me first address the 2 things that you...
This recording is over 10 minutes.
Meditation can be dangerous. So, there's lots of misconceptions about meditation. And I think my last book, I'm going to do this present book.
So, look at all these weird surveillance ones. There's a bunch of surveillance cameras. Some of them, the people are redacted in them. I know you guys are just seeing the thumbnails because it's like over here behind the chat. But still, that's creepy, right?
The sun. Oh, it's really, Anyway, I have pictures up on the wall. I had to borrow the Scotch tape to get the pictures on the wall. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
The form and foundation mischaracterizes their testimony.
So I didn't hire people. I met people. The word hire. Yes, you did. I said met.
That would have been cool if it was, but I don't think it was. I think it was a child actor, and maybe been somebody from his family or something that was just used as to represent Bad Bunny when he was little, like sitting with his dad or his grandpa watching American TV or something. Jake Paul had something to say about it. That was fucking, what the fuck? Close-up selfie video in front of a chalkboard displays complete scientific equations while mouthing words, exhibits exaggerated facial movements before the camera. What the fuck is that? Hold on. That's a live photo. What the fuck? Taste food. Does the article say it's him or not him? I've seen a bunch of people on Twitter claiming it is him, but damaged luxury. Oh shit! Yeah, I would say damage. Holy fuck! Somebody's got daddy's boat, trying to get Epstein Island. You guys remember when that crazy motherfucker, while the FBI was taking all the shit out of Epstein Island, that crazy motherfucker rode up on a jet ski and deployed a drone and like flew right up to the goddamn FBI. They were like holding up manila folders trying to keep them from looking at him. That was fucking wild. It says it's supposed to be his younger self. He was very interested in damaged buildings, it looks like. Another damaged boat. Oh, this is a sunk boat.
But then also like...
Oh, they're trying to recover it. Looks like it's got lines or pumps or something on it.
But then also like...
There's some weird shit. I mean, there's some weird shit in my phone, too. I felt bad for the NSA agent who's like always monitoring my accounts.
Help us spread the word in your network among startup founders and executives that are looking to hire media talent. Join us on February 20th at Company for our media mixer. See you then.
Some weird shit. That's more jail videos. This is more jail footage. There was some, let me show these weird ones now that I know I can pull it up full screen and show you. These security camera ones are fucking weird. What's this one? Somebody being sexy in front of the window. Where's the... Okay, these are all weird. What is this? This doesn't look like a normal high fidelity. This looks like a hidden camera. Right? Why is the quality so poor? And then this one that's already been fucking blacked out by the DOJ. That's weird. Yeah. It's a weird angle for a security camera, too. Like, it's down low. It's lower than the desk. Somebody walks in, chair slides back. Huh. I don't know. Let's go to let's go over here. I think it was CoffeeZilla who was covering the an Epstein update on the Void channel. With Peter Attia and those things. The Epstein files are getting worse. Check this out.
It only gets worse from here. We're going back into the 3 million documents. So far, we mostly covered how billionaires lied about their relationship with Epstein and or got blackmailed in the drafts, eventually killing their marriage. We talked about Howard Lutnick, how he lied about meeting Epstein, although he still denies this. And we also talked about some horrible accusations against Trump and Bill Clinton, although we were clear that they are unverified. Now, some people have responded to the release, like Elon Musk, saying that no one fought harder for the full release of the Epstein files than I did. Ironically, he claims that he knew that the playbook of the far-left propagandists and legacy media is admit nothing, deny everything, and making counter-accusations, saying he had never set foot on Epstein's creepy island or attended parties, despite the fact we saw last time that Elon was asking to be invited to the party. What day and night would be the wildest party on your island? Nevertheless, I think it's an interesting point. The playbook, as we get into this much darker side of the 3.5 million files, you're going to notice this trend is true, that everyone we're going to talk about, basically they admit nothing, they deny everything, and then they usually make counter-accusations against other people in in the files. Almost no one has faced any kind of consequences for this whole thing, leading me to wonder, why is it that it seems like really only in the rest of the world has anyone faced anything? I mean, you've got the former Prince Andrew losing his title. You've got the Slovakia National Security Advisor resigning over the Epstein links. But in America, I'm really hard-pressed to think of anyone who has actually faced any kind of accountability. I think Larry Summers stepped back voluntarily. But other than that, it's hard to think of anyone who's faced any kind of justice. In fact, arguably, Ghislaine Maxwell's life is better than it was previously since these Epstein files have dropped. And what's crazy about this is that we know that the government story is false. Remember, the FBI documents showed they had 10 co-conspirators they were investigating. We also got an old draft of an indictment where they had several co-defendants with Epstein. Now, of course, we know these were never ultimately charged. This was back in 2005, but just imagine all the way back in 2005, where these charges are from, we already had evidence that Epstein was not working alone, and of course he's not. But now we're going to talk a little bit about how the scheme operated. Now, to be clear, we're going to talk in a second about the...
Wait. So I was looking at that article, and the kid's name is Lincoln Fox. How do you guys feel about this? The kid is 5. He's obviously not old enough to decide whether he wants to be put on the internet like this or not. And he's got a full fucking public Instagram, including pictures like this. Am I just being a fucking boomer? Like, is this completely okay? Am I out of touch? He's 5. Isn't that what he said? I know it just showed him beside 9. Oh, wait, 5 years old, Fox. Maybe he is 9. I just saw a picture of him with a 9 beside him. I'm not great at guessing. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 apples tall. This is weird, right? Like weirdos are going to beat their dick to this. It almost makes me think that you want weirdos beating their dicks to this and asking you for more personalized shit. Yeah, but can't you have an actor model page like with headshots and stuff and not this? Or at least not public facing? I don't know. Half Argentinian, half Egyptian, 5 years old, represented, I guess, film and photos. I feel like I'm back in the Epstein fucking thing. Like I'm in Epstein's hard drive. What the fuck is this? Oh, we're just going to have a banana eating contest. Lots of topless photos, bro. I get it. He's a kid. Maybe too much topless photos? Is he getting a whole lot of roles where he has to be naked? Is that what we're doing here? There's a full bathing photo. What the fuck? I'm out. I don't need this on my hard drive. I'm out. That was creepy. Do not condone.
People who protected him this whole time. But right now, I want to talk about how Epstein got some of these girls in the first place, because the Epstein files provide an interesting look behind the curtains. Obviously, we know Ghislaine Maxwell was helping, whether it be procure the girls, talk them into stuff. But now we have emails of a different side of the scheme. It says, yesterday I spoke to Daniel Syed, who Jean-Luc Brunel describes as a scout or recruiter of girls or women for Jeffrey Epstein. Attached to
So basically, the way they did this is he had this guy, a couple guys running all over Eastern Europe and Russia and Ukraine, all over the place, recruiting these girls to be models, poor girls, models. They were paid $3,000 finding fee and a percentage of all the money they made for their life.
this incoming email from Brunel is the contact information he has for Syed. And then they blacked out his number and email. But digging into Jeffrey's emails with Daniel shows that he was constantly sending him links to girls. It shows Jeffrey Epstein paying Daniel 3,000 euros, which, to be clear, was the amount that was agreed to by Jean-Luc Brunel. Quote, Dominique.
We will pay him 3,000 euros every month for scouting for 6-month period. On all models we get from him, we will pay him 5% commission on their earnings. I'm preparing a written agreement. You can transfer money now. Thank you.
We will pay him 3,000 euros each month for scouting for a 6-month period. On all models we will get him, we will pay him 5% commission on their earnings. Imagine it's like baseball or it's like basketball. You're scouting for, I hate to use the word talent, but that's really what this guy was doing. He was going around the globe trying to find people for Jeffrey Epstein and Jean-Luc Brunel. According to one lawsuit, Epstein trafficked a Jane Doe to Jean-Luc Brunel many times. It describes their operation as this: many of the girls came from poor countries or impoverished backgrounds. He lured them in with a promise of making good money. Quote, Brunel has been a model scout for various modeling agencies for many years, and he was apparently able to get U.S. passports for young girls too.
You know, this is the way that Tim Ballet did it, right? Tim Ballet is all bullshit. The whole story's bullshit. His time working, the little girl he promised to find her brother, all that, everything's bullshit he ever did. But one of the things they would do from some of his own team members, they would go to impoverished areas and go to like the bar and harass the locals into bringing them girls. And oftentimes the locals would bring them adult prostitutes. And they would say, no, younger, no, younger. And they would flash thousands of dollars in front of them. Until at one point, according to one of the people that were on the ground with him on this mission, until at one point, they finally convinced a guy to go get his girlfriend, who was 16. The guy was 18 working in the bar, to go get his girlfriend, who was 16 at the time, for $10,000 US in a place where the guy makes like fucking $10 for the year. And he finally brought his girlfriend over, and then they kicked down the door and arrested a bunch of people. Like, what the fuck? That's not the name I gave him.
Work as models, eventually, of course, being sent to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, it should be noted that Jean-Luc Brunel himself died in prison by hanging, and that's while he was being accused of horrible crimes related to hacking and minors. So this guy is not a good guy. He was part of the op, along with Daniel Syed, who was also scouting on behalf of...
No, he didn't rape his assistant. He trained people to be his fake wife on these missions, and he raped them.
Epstein and Jean-Luc Brunel, they had their agreement. Here's a sample of how this would work. Jeffrey Epstein asked him to take a full body shot of someone. Daniel Syed says, now she's really skinny, I will do Polaroid. Jeffrey Epstein asks for a copy of her passport and then asks, how many tickets do you want for Woody, meaning Woody Allen? He says 2. Okay, thank you. Full body if possible. And then Jeffrey Epstein says, doesn't look too happy. Comments on her body. And then he says she is very sweet.
Boobs fake. She's very sweet. I haven't seen someone so nice like her. Very polite. On that picture, maybe the first I took, very normal. Yes, she did her boobs. She regret when she was 18 year.
I'll skip a few of the sordid details here. They comment about her body extensively, and then Jeffrey Epstein says,
she is nice. Her boobs are awful. They will have to be reduced.
I sent a request that she want to come out to Paris on Sunday. He says, I will invite to come. And this is basically how it worked. Daniel Syed flew around the world looking for women, sending photos to Jeffrey Epstein, who then would get a copy of their passports and bring them to the States. Here's an example of this. Daniel Syed brings him a girl. They didn't redact his name, but I'm going to do it. He says, very nice, easygoing, dream to work in the United States or visit the United States working as a model in Dubai. He asks age. Daniel says 22 or 23. I forgot to ask her. She looks younger. I have her number if you want to call her. She was going to send this evening. And this happens over and over. At one point, he talks about a Thai actress. Jeffrey Epstein says he can see her on Wednesday, and then he complains that she wants to meet in a restaurant. I don't do that in New York. And then says she didn't even respond. Not nice. The point is, a lot of these girls were looking to come to the United States for one reason or another, for some kind of dream. They would ask for passports or visas, and then ultimately get sent here by this network of people who would later be accused of trafficking or other abuses. Now, to be clear, there have not been charges against Daniel Syed, and the government, remember, says they have no evidence to go even predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. So it's a little
no evidence to even open an investigation.
Bizarre to be reading about this scouting operation for Jeffrey Epstein, the way he recruited girls, and then be told, yeah, nothing to see here. Yeah, one of the scouts.
It reminds me a lot of this whole scouting for models or whatever. Reminds me a lot of Andrew Tate and his brother.
Was like this, like, who himself in jail. But yeah, no, there's no one else here, even though there's definitely guys floating around. Even though we literally have redacted defendants in our old draft of an indictment. We have nothing to do. We can't possibly imagine doing anything. And that brings me to one of the frustrating parts of these whole files is the redactions. I mean, I know I've been over this, but it's a different thing. In the past, the files were sort of overly redacted to protect people. The problem this time is not only are a lot of people still being protected, like literally the names of the people they were going to charge, you couldn't argue those are victims, but the work was just done so sloppy that oftentimes you'll find that the DOJ has uploaded 2 documents that are functionally identical, and they redacted one but not the other, letting you see what's ultimately behind the mask, which is dumb because sometimes the thing they're redacting is Jeffrey Epstein's name, or other times it's somebody who clearly is not a victim, because then you see the non-redacted copy and you're like, yeah, that's clearly not a victim. So it's a little strange what they seem to have done here. Let me give you a for instance. So we have this message from somebody whose name is blacked out, and we see participants, and then we see Jeffrey Epstein is involved, right? And it says, we need to work around your 38. We need to push back on the lies, then crush the pedo trafficking narrative, then rebuild your image as a philanthropist. Now, I want to know who's doing that? Who's trying to rebuild Jeffrey Epstein's image, right? Well, we scroll down and we see that Jeffrey Epstein sends something. He says, in any bar where drinking age is 18, and you see the participant is once again blacked out. But
wait. What did that say?
Image as a philanthropist. Now, I want to know who's doing that. Who's trying to rebuild Jeffrey Epstein's image, right? Well, we go ahead, we scroll down.
In any bar where the drinking age 18, I guess that 10% of the patrons are under 18. They sneak in, they have fake ID, their friend brings them in, and that is with guards at the door. The owner gets a fine. Every bar in Florida, there is no intercourse.
And we see that Jeffrey Epstein sends something. He says, in any bar where drinking age is 18, and you see the participant is once again blacked out. But underneath it, in a separate file, we see Steve Bannon, a famous political figure, is in here, and he's saying the same thing. He says, first, we need to push back on the lies, then crush the trafficking narrative, then rebuild your image as a philanthropist. Guys, why did you censor out his name? Or like, why was that censored at all? I don't understand. And I certainly don't understand why Jeffrey Epstein's name in this one is censored. So Jeffrey's not censored in this one, but Bannon is, and then Bannon's not censored in this one, and Epstein is. And sometimes this creates the bizarre impression that they are censoring for victim names or for some like kind of victim status or for some reason. And then you see the other file and you're like, wait, why did you do this? It's just very poorly done throughout. That's just something I wanted to comment on, is not only did they once again not fully redact things because they were sloppy, but also like victims' names got stuck in this.
They're pretty fucking horrible at this.
Sometimes, and like I'm not sure.
Especially considering they were breaking the law for months to do these redactions. And then they did them so poorly.
A mess. I needed to point that out. You know, other times we have things like this, like Brock Pierce, a co-founder of Tether, also known as.
I'm glad. I'm glad you're a fan. I don't know anybody. I just wanted a close game, but I could care less who won. But I'm glad somebody's a fan.
He sent a message to Jeffrey Epstein with the subject line Anastasia, and then it's just a bunch of redacted stuff with a few untitled JPEGs in here. And so
this doesn't even make sense. It looks like these are also files, but why did they not? Like, see the semicolons beside? It looks like these are also files. Why redact the file names?
You know, you're thinking to yourself, what is this? Is he sending some illicit media? Like, what is this? Well, then we have this page where it wasn't redacted. I put that little dark square. I didn't know if this should have been redacted or not. It's like a bunch of JPEGs. Now, does that contain victims? Is Brock Pierce sending photos of victims? I don't know because of the way the government did this. But underneath, it says, the Ukraine is now my favorite country, smiley face, Brock Pierce.
So they redacted half of it in one copy of the email, but in the other copy of the email, they didn't redact it.
With the subject line, Anastasia. I don't know what to make of that. I'm just saying the redactions, like the way they did this, is not good. But now let's return to Steve Bannon and his we're going to crush the trafficking narrative, because this guy, oh boy, has been revealed in the files to being like Jeffrey's right-hand PR man. I mean, this guy was filming basically a documentary about Jeffrey Epstein in order to rehabilitate his image. And some of it has actually leaked to the public. It's been interesting to watch how that's been received. But the funny thing is that originally Jeffrey Epstein's plan was to just do a YouTube video, like an apology, like an old school 2016, turn on the camera for authenticity and saying, you know, he says, do you think I can do my own video interview and upload it to YouTube? No sandbagging, interview format, or like a diary piece. Steve Bannon says, if you do an interview, it can't be like Johnny does a YouTube. It has to be amazingly professional and perfectly cut. Then
the only reason Steve Bannon would say this is because Steve Bannon wants the contract to do it.
Jeffrey Epstein responds, Woody, we assume Woody Allen, because they were close, said he would help edit. Not sure how to stage, what points to make, but better than trying to do an interview that I have no experience doing. Goal is to humanize the monster. Anything written carries little weight, to which Steve Bannon replies, yes, Jeffrey Epstein, should it be an interview format, interviewed by me? They start talking about, like, how do we do this? Humor, apology, how did I get rich? Question mark topics. Their brainstorm, how do we trick the public into seeing me as more than a monster? Now, funny enough, right before this, Jeffrey Epstein asks about a dinner with Woody.
This is all before his second arrest, right?
And then he says, or too many pedos in one place.
Isn't that crazy? Like, he didn't even try to justify what he was or what he did. He literally said, dinner with Woody Allen, or is that too many pedos in one place? And another thing, he's talking about traveling to Paris or something with Woody Allen. And the guy's like, oh, you guys going to the pedophile convention?
And you gotta love the self-awareness there. Now, I don't know what he meant by that. To be clear, I'm not making that accusation against Woody Allen. We'll talk about him in a second. That's Jeffrey Epstein saying that. I think what's interesting to point out, though, is how all these rich and powerful people are circling the wagons to try to protect Jeffrey Epstein's reputation, right? This is a guy who at this point has been known for years to have pled guilty to these 2008 charges. This was an open secret. And so Steve Bannon goes along, though, anyways, and he films this documentary. Now, what's interesting is he starts talking about the documentary, and he starts saying, I'm watching our second hour now. Guys were blown away. I didn't think it was strong at the time, but I was wrong. Need huge part about threat of AI versus reality, threat of climate change. And this is where the notes start going back and forth of how can we get you to think of other things? So part of the conceit of this big interview of Jeffrey Epstein was to try to humanize him and actually present him as this genius, everyman, quirky guy with a few flaws, right? They knew they couldn't run away from the crimes. To quote, in Bannon's words, yes, 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 of course, but we must counter rapists who traffics in female children to be raped by world's most powerful, richest men. That can't be redeemed. You can't redeem the unredeemable. You are a lot of things which we will show, but you are not that. Bannon is aware that, like, they can't fully embrace the Epstein thing. They have to kind of make it about more than that. And if you see the YouTube clip going around, that's what that is. And it's been so interesting to watch the reaction because you see, even for people who've been prepped with the idea that this is basically propaganda, some of them still fall for it. They post things like, you know, oh, Cat Bro is casually confirming the world's conspiracies because he's talking about 2008. But guys, that's the whole deception. They're like trying to be like, hey, this guy, this horrible monster, he's going to tell you the secrets of the inside club. So you think more, that's the whole.
That's what they were trying to do. Be like, yeah, he's a bad guy and he got caught up in the sex scandal, but he can tell you what's really going on behind closed doors. And I think that's why Jeffrey Epstein went to Poll, went to 4chan, went to 8chan, started fucking Pizzagate, started the QAnon conspiracy. He started all that shit. Wild,
that's
dude.
how they're getting away with this. It's not.
Isn't it wild to think that the Save the Kids people were tricked by a fucking pedophile? Jen just sent me an article on it from Project Bleach Us. It's a really cool article. I just started reading it, but it's wild to think that the Save the Kids people were the same. So it even has charts here. It says in 2025, Steve Bannon discovers that World of Warcraft trolls can be used as like a weapon. He identifies them as a weapon. In 2014, their hands are in Gamergate, which is a test of the weapon. In 2016, Pizzagate emerges on Poll. That's the first time they deploy the weapon. In 2017, QAnon begins on 8chan. That's to scale up the weapon. And then in 2021, on January 6th, that's when the weapon is used physically, like out in the open in the real world. Like, it's fucking insane.
Some kind of, oh, he happened to want to talk about this. This is all premeditated. This has gone through revisions. They even called Jeffrey Epstein the smartest guy in the room.
Look, you're the smartest guy in the room, right? You know that.
It's honestly ridiculous anyone believes the false conceit of, you're obviously the smartest man in the room. You could tell us the world's secrets. I mean, this guy, honestly, he talks about some of his engagements, like with the Rockefeller board, and he tries to say that owning a calculator is why he got that.
It was very advanced in those days to have a Texas Instrument calculator, where it could, by putting in the numbers, it would multiply for you to do square roots. And that was the first, and everyone who had a calculator was already advanced on Wall Street. The most important parts of business were really now going to
No one believes this story, right? No one believes that because he had a calculator, he was made partner at an investment firm. Like they couldn't just go buy a calculator.
Calculations. Places like Rockefeller needed someone to say, look, we're entering a different world where numbers and the numbers of companies, portfolio management was going to be balanced. It was going to be statistical. Jeffrey, could you come on the board, potentially sit on the finance committee?
So we're honestly supposed to believe that Jeffrey Epstein got into this prestigious Rockefeller board because he had a calculator, but also that he's the smartest guy in the room, the smartest man on Wall Street. And let's not talk about those horrific crimes he committed because, you know, he's not really such a bad guy after all. But it wasn't just Steve Bannon that was trying to humanize or giving advice on how to humanize Epstein. It was also Richard Branson, the famous billionaire. He was caught emailing Jeffrey Epstein saying, "Dear Jeffrey, it was really nice seeing you yesterday. The boys in water sports can't stop speaking about it. Anytime you're in the area, would love to see you as long as you bring your harem."
As long as this is Richard Branson, right? Virgin Mobile, fucking billionaire. As long as you bring your harem.
I don't know, that's not that ambiguous, guys. I think we can imagine what that means. But anyways, he says, one, I think if Bill Gates was willing to say that you've been a brilliant advisor to him, that you slipped up many years ago by sleeping with a 17-and-a-half-year-old and were punished for it, that you've more than learned your lesson and have done.
That's the story they want to tell, right? Oh, this is 17 and a half. She lied. You know, she was in a bar that was 18 and up, so he thought it was 18 and up, blah, 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 blah.
Nothing that's against the law since, and yes, as a single man, you have a penchant for women, but there's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, something along those lines. He's giving him PR advice. How to get your reputation back. Hey, Jeffrey, privately, I love you. You can come back anytime with your harem. Jeffrey Epstein responds, nice seeing you. Thanks for your hospitality. I appreciate your public relations thoughts.
Oh, wait. Do you guys think that water sports is like about like golden showers and shit? I thought he literally meant like water sport. Richard Branson is a huge like fucking kite surfing, full boarding. You know, he's into all that fucking adventure lifestyle. I know what water sports is, like fucking pissing on each other. But I didn't know that's the way he was using it.
Back. Hey, Jeffrey, privately, I loved you. You can come back anytime with your harem. Jeffrey Epstein responds, nice seeing you. Thanks for your hospitality. I appreciate your public relations thoughts. Now,
Richard Branson tried several times to break the Atlantic speed record, like the crossing the Atlantic speed record. So it could have been like the people in his water sports division or something. I just didn't think that is creepier if he's talking about pissing on each other.
According to the New York Times, the Branson representative said the two had a business meeting and stressed the women were adults and had not.
How did he say it? The boys in water sports? What did he say? The boys in water sports, and he capitalized water sports. Can't stop speaking about it. Huh. Maybe.
Something along those lines. He's giving him PR advice. How to get your reputation back. Hey, Jeffrey, privately, I loved you. You can come back anytime with your harem. Jeffrey Epstein responds.
Based at Suko. Remember, everybody respond to Itsuko, everything she says with the word based until she figures out what it means, okay?
Nice seeing you. Thanks for your hospitality. I appreciate your public relations thoughts. Now, according to the New York Times, the Branson representative said the two had a business meeting and stressed the women were adults and had not attended the meeting. All above board. That's what everyone says, by the way. Remember what Elon Musk said, right? That's the playbook. Admit nothing, deny everything. Speaking of, remember Howard Lutnick, who we showed on video saying that he...
Oh, you guys, keep your... I'm not religious. You can pray if you want to, if that's your thing, but keep Mariah's grandpa in your thoughts, I guess. Sing good vibes. He has been in the hospital for the last few days. He had a heart attack, I believe, and then he went to the hospital. It put him in ICU. They took him down for a stent, but his heart rate wasn't great for a stent. Now he has two options. It's either basically open heart surgery or angioplasty. Angioplasty is where they go in and like expand your veins. Both of them have complications. During angioplasty, they can actually break off pieces of plaque that can cause heart failure. The open heart surgery, he's 80 something. When you have open heart surgery, they basically like fucking break your rib cage in half and shit. My dad had a huge fucking scar, but it's like really hard to recover from, especially at the age he's at. My dad had it when he was like fucking 40, you know. Mariah's grandpa's like 81, I think. She's going back over to the hospital tomorrow to discuss the options with the doctor. I think they're just going to do the angioplasty and hope that helps because he doesn't want to go through the recovery of the open heart surgery, basically.
He had never seen Epstein since 2005.
So I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. In fact, I was there.
It's sad, but he realizes like, hey, I'm old, you know, open heart surgery. If that gives me, 10 more years, which would be a lot, right? He'd be living till 91. But I spend fucking all of those where I can't even move around. Or angioplasty gives me, a couple more years, hopefully. But I can move and do, because he's actually really active for his age. He gets out, he drives, he does his own shopping and groceries, and, he does everything himself.
I wasn't going because he's gross.
Although also
my dad's open heart surgery saved his life. He had something that the doctor called a widowmaker on the back of his heart. It was basically like something that was getting ready to rupture on the back side of his heart, and through all that muscle tissue, you can't see it on an MRI. So when they went in for his open heart surgery and were repairing what they went in to repair, they actually found this other thing on his heart and were able to find that. And the guy that did dad's surgery said within the next year, you would have just dropped dead. And it didn't matter how quickly you could have been here. If you had a helicopter on standby or you were in an ambulance when it happened, you couldn't have gotten here quick enough to survive it. And they found that in my dad. And again, that was when he was like 40 something. He didn't die till he's 60 something. So, They saved my dad's life with open heart surgery, even though it sucked and he had this big bruise and big scar and it took forever to heal. And
also calling him the greatest blackmailer ever.
This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever.
Well, also according to the Times, Lutnick said he spent zero time with him, even though there are emails basically to the contrary, where Epstein is saying, nice seeing you after the conviction. I mean, these people, not only are they lying, they won't even admit when they've been caught lying. But now let's talk about Prince Andrew too.
God damn, dude. God damn. What? Oh, I got a TikTok video for you. If I can find it. I know I watched it today, right?
So this silly little thing happens in 1894, and it becomes the template for why everybody's job sucks today. Let me explain. Let me set the scene. It's Pullman, Illinois, which is a factory town in 1894. It's built around the Pullman Palace Car Company. And George Pullman, who owns the company and owns the town.
That sounds like a cool video.
Sets prices at the grocery store, which he also owns, and so on. Now, Pullman has a rather diverse workforce from all across the country that have come in to build these luxury rail cars, because that's what they build. But Pullman is an odd duck. He has these really strange proclivities about gambling and swear.
I'll look for the video while we're listening to that one.
That mean the town is one of hyper-vigilance. There is a company security force who make sure that people aren't playing cards or drinking beer or interacting with someone of a different ethnic group than them. Now, in the 1890s, the rail industry hits a little bit of a bump in the road, and Pullman's profits go down. Pullman has a fiduciary responsibility. That means legal obligation to produce profits for shareholders. Now, there's a couple of ways you can generate more profits, but the easy one for George is cut wages and raise rents at the same time. Overnight, these people working 12 and 14-hour shifts suddenly find themselves impoverished, on the verge of homelessness, and running out of food. They reach out to the governor of Illinois for help. The governor of Illinois says, hands are tied, can't do anything about that. And so they go on strike. Now, this strike gets real hostile real fast, like nail bombs in the crowd, turning over train cars, setting the factory on fire kind of strike. Dude named Eugene Debs, he's the head of the American Railway Union. He calls on railroad workers around the country to do a general strike to support the workers in Pullman, and they do. Overnight, rail lines around the nation shut down, and the verge of an economic crisis, nationwide economic crisis, is reached. Initially, support for the Pullman striking workers is quite high. After all, lots and lots of Americans are in very similar conditions, and lots of Americans see themselves in the suffering of the workers in Pullman. But then this silly little thing happens. The narrative shifts, and papers around the country start blaming immigrants and black people for causing the unrest at the strike, saying that these outside agitators are the ones that are really to blame for why things get bad. Not that the workers in Pullman had finally had enough of their miserable lives and were doing something about it because the state had failed to meet their needs, because George Pullman had failed to meet their needs, but that outside agitators were the ones to blame. And the country bites, sinks its teeth in, and the strike is crushed by the state. And this model, this strategy of turn unhappy workers into black people and immigrants, allows companies around the country the moral credence to crush strikes when they happen. And we see over and over throughout the history of labor in the United States that anytime there's labor unrest, some outside agitator gets blamed.
It's wild how indoctrination works, like how they indoctrinated people to like accept automobiles and invent the car industry invented jaywalking. Like jaywalking wasn't a thing, right? They invented that. Or how most people have been indoctrinated and they don't even realize it to fucking hate the union and be like, if I just work hard enough, I'll be the boss one day.
Rather than the problem that caused the unrest in the first place. So this silly little thing happens in 1894, and it becomes the template for what?
No, let me see if I can. That was an interesting video. I'm glad I watched that. Actually, I'm going to follow that guy. John Sturtruck. There you go. All right. There was a video, and it was like, damn it. I probably won't be able to find it. Hold on. I already looked through so many videos and I haven't seen it yet. It was basically how billionaires are in their emails while they're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. And it was like, here's my the full unredacted photo of me raping this 12-year-old. Like, it was just like blatantly how they put this out there. Like, these pictures. Why the fuck would these pictures exist, dude? Even if you're into this shit and you're a disgusting motherfucker, why are these pictures a thing?
Who was caught lying over a woman at some kind of a party. I mean, just not a good, this is not doing you any favors. You know, I know Prince Andrew soon will probably be on the comeback tour. It's going to be a bunch of highly paid PR execs. Maybe Steve Bannon can jump in, shoot another 5-hour podcast trying to rehabilitate him. Like, Prince Andrew, what's the secret behind the royal family?
Look, you're the smartest guy in the room.
But again, has he admitted anything? Has he denied everything? Now, we should also probably talk about Noam Chomsky as well, the guy behind the book Manufacturing Consent. Which, yes. In hindsight, maybe we should have suspected something. But either way, he also sends some reputational advice to his buddy Jeffrey Epstein. He says, I watched the horrible way you've been treated by the press and public. It's painful to say, but I think the best way to proceed is to ignore it. When the vultures dearly want is a public response, which then provides a public opening. In general, I think it's best not to react unless directly questioned, particularly in the current mood. That's the best advice I can think of. No. Now, he sends that to Matthew Hiltzik of Hiltzik Strategies, who is a also famous PR guy, I guess, trying to help Epstein, I assume, who responds, I think that is wise. Now, later talking with Bannon, Epstein loops in Hiltzik again. He says, Matt Hiltzik thought your idea was epic. Hypocrisy of the liberal left. And he says, yep, he would confidentially like to sit and help if you like. This is Matthew Hiltzik. You know, a lot of powerful people basically were bending over backwards, left, right, center, trying to rehabilitate this guy's image. And the question is, why? Why were all these guys so interested in their precious Jeffrey Epstein if they had no involvement? I mean, that's the part I can't figure out. Because all of them deny it. All of them don't admit it.
Why were they so protective, so close? And they're like, I had no idea. I don't even barely know the guy.
Anything. And so what exactly is the problem? But now it's time to talk about Elon Musk's brother, Kimball Musk. He was also in the files. Jeffrey was
not just Elon's brother. And I'm sure the dad, too.
Copied on an email talking about Kimball's 40th birthday, where the password to the secret party was Riot. And then in all...
the password to the secret sex party was Pussy Riot. And then in all caps, it says, I am not joking about the password.
Caps, Boris.
Most of this is after the allegations come out. Right? I think all that's been released recently has been after the allegations come out. It was in 2008. All of this stuff is way more recent than that.
The sender of this email says, I am not joking about the password. This was in 2012 in September.
Yeah.
Now that's important because a little bit.
The first time he gets caught up in Florida with a sex worker or whatever, it was 2008.
Later, Kimball Musk is emailing Boris Nikolic and Jeffrey Epstein, and he's talking to them about being connected with some redacted name and saying, I believe you both played a role, whatever that means. Now, whether this was at the party or, right after their meeting in October, I don't know. But what's interesting is Boris responds.
Yeah, I can't find the fucking video I'm looking for.
Redacted. Jeffrey goes crazy when someone mistreats his girls/friends, so better be very nice to her.
Excuse me? Kimball, just FYI, you better be nice to blank. Jeffrey goes crazy when someone mistreats his girl's friends, so you better be very nice to her. And Jeffrey and I better have a special treatment at your ceremony. Great to hang out with you. See you very soon. Please keep me posted. Travel plans, New York City.
Kimball Musk responds, message received, wide and clear. Then he says, seriously, I'm very happy with my time so far with Jennifer. She's great. Now, again, was that supposed to be a redacted name we just read? I don't know. They've been redacting it in earlier emails, and all of a sudden you just get Jennifer.
Yeah, I was part of when I was Railroad's closed shop. Where I live. So Railroad's all union. You got the BLE for the engineers, and then you've got the conductors union, which is actually part of the sheet metal mechanics and railroad transportation conductors. For some reason, they teamed up. It's called Sharp. Yeah, there's some good unions. There's some fuckery in unions. I'm not going to say that every union rep's up and up and they're all in. One of the fucked up things about the union at the railroad was like, people would start out in the union and work their way through the union until they were high up in the union. And you would watch them go from literally fighting for you and things that you wanted to start rolling over for the company and not fighting for you and the things that you need or wanted. And then before you know it, they would get a job as one of the CEOs at the railroad. I think it should be a hard bar, the same way that you shouldn't be able to go from politics to lobbying. You shouldn't be able to go from union representative to the C-suite at the railroad. That's what the fuck? You work your way all the way up through the railroad union against management, and then you become railroad management? It's like we would get guys that would do 10 years for the union and then 10 years working for management. Fuck that, dude. Because how do I know all the decisions you just made that fucked me and my family, right? On doctor's appointments and overtime pay and days off. How do I know you just didn't make that so the company gave you a job next year?
I can't really figure that out. But what I can figure out is that a little while later, a few days later, Jeffrey Epstein gets an email. Now, we know Kimball credits the meetup and says Boris and Epstein were responsible in some way for this. But now Jeffrey Epstein's being emailed about Jen's schedule. Is that Jennifer? I mean, it seems like it because Jen's schedule for the rest of the year, and it seems like the assistant has copy and pasted Jen's response because she says, Sue, these would be dates in November, and then starts saying, this, she can go to New York. She says the 29th to the 7th, she's free. Kimball to New York. Then she says, Kimball, Jen, London. Kimball, Jen, London to Morocco, ? Then she has a break, and then it's Jen, Kimball, St. Bart's, assuming we're not sick of each other by the end of November. Now, I can't figure out why is she running this schedule about when she's hanging out with Kimball, who Jeffrey set her up with. Like, why is she running this by Elon Musk? To be clear, I don't know. There could be, I guess, innocent explanations for this. Maybe, I don't know. But all I see are constant, powerful people either being intro to girls, talking about the harem.
Yeah, once you pick that you're on the union side, you should just be banned for at least 10 goddamn years after you leave the union from going to work for the management side. Those should be two separate sides, right?
Talking about beautiful ladies, and the FBI, they can't figure it out. They have no evidence to even investigate third parties. Why? I guess because they're rich and powerful. Around the world, we're seeing resignations, we're seeing people lose their status. But here in the United States,
is this the email?
It was so good to meet you last night at the torture party, Jeff. Please, if you are ever near my island, bring your big group of girls with you and we can have some fun. By the way, the apple juice and the pizza were really good. We must meet up sometime to discuss our secret plans about World War III. By the way, do you keep getting Elon asking you to come to these parties? Because I do too, and I don't really want him to come. He's not cool. I sure hope no one reads these emails, but even if they do, I bet there'll be no reaction. Send me all the videos and pictures of the party when you can. I'd like to remember that forever. Please do let me know when the next big torture party is so I can bring a massive jet with even more young girls. Also, do you know how I can treat this STI? It was so good to meet.
Damn it. That was close to it. What's this one?
Yeah, it's some work stuff. I emailed Jeffrey Epstein 86 times. You? Yeah, same. Had a lunch thing and then sent Jeffrey Epstein like 150,000 emails. You said your name and every one of them? Oh, yeah, full name. And then I described the activities we've done together and also the activities that I hope to do the next time we're together. Nice, nice. Oh, and I wrote him a letter too. Kind of a vague message, nefarious in nature, just because I thought it'd be fun. Oh, yeah. And then I signed it. Full name. Yeah, of course, yeah. I am worried we don't have enough pictures together.
You know what? Me too. And I feel like we should get more.
Good day?
Yeah.
This is how billionaires hang out until 2010. It was a video like that. It was pretty good, but I can't find the one that I was talking about originally.
States, we've got like multiple presidents in the files. We got the world's richest.
Wait, this one might be it.
Had a great time perving it up at the island. Remember when I tortured that guy? Haha. When can we run it back? Had a great time perving it up at the island.
I need 7 cheese pizzas for 2 hours, then I will return them in slightly used condition. Also, make it quick. I just took my erectile dysfunction medicine.
Richest man in the file, several of the world's richest men in the file, and we just can't drum up any kind of evidence. It's just incredible to me. Now, I also want to talk about another rich and powerful person, and that is Peter Attia. He's a podcast bro.
This guy, I think he just said, I just saw a news story where he stepped down from some CBS deal he had over this.
He's a longevity expert, and actually, funny enough, I read his book, and that's going to come into play here in a second because, oh boy, did I get some additional...
Yeah, I don't mind that people that go to like Trainmaster, right, and they become a company man. Good for you, right? You got a company truck. Always remember where you can. I've always, like everywhere I've worked in construction, if I've started on my tools, I've always made it to a supervisor position, and I always remember to take care of my guys because I was there before. It's the people that are actually negotiating fucking contracts that go to work for the company afterwards. That blows my mind. Like, even if you didn't do anything nefarious, it looks like you did a good job fucking me, so you got a job at the company. Like, that's what it looks like. It should just not even be an option, right?
Context. Well, let's start here with something that Peter Attia sent Jeffrey Epstein. He says, subject, got a fresh shipment. And then Epstein responds, me too, and there's a completely redacted image. Is that a girl? Or is this bad redactions? We don't know, although we'll find out in a second because later Peter responded to this. But Peter says, please tell me you found that picture online. Jeffrey responds, got a fresh shipment. Afraid not. Peter responds, the biggest problem with becoming friends with you. The life you lead is so outrageous, yet I can't tell a soul. Why, Peter? Why can't you tell a soul? Why don't you tell us now?
It would be like if, imagine we send somebody over to Ukraine to negotiate a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia, right? And basically they give Russia everything they've ever wanted, and it really looks like they fucked over Ukraine. Then they wait 6 months, and then Russia makes them the fucking assistant prime minister or some shit. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Now that it's all out in the open, why don't you tell us why you can't tell a soul the secrets or the life that Epstein leads? And then we get another redacted photo, right? And then some more.
Got a fresh shipment. That's disgusting.
Peter says, please tell me that's not where you actually are. And Jeffrey says, you can see the gym in the middle, just me and 4. And Peter says, I think you might have a more interesting life than the Dos Equis guy. Is this off the coast of France? No, it's my island in the Caribbean. You're saying.
I think people often forget that it's just like a whole lot of luck that we're not all fucking living under a bridge somewhere. Like, I can imagine a scenario where I'm fucking broke and homeless and destitute in like a couple bad choices, a couple wrong turns, a couple medical fucking emergencies, and I would just be done. And then people like to think they made it on their own, right? And hold that above people's heads.
St. Thomas.
Like, I just worked harder than you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you didn't work hard, but without a couple of really, really, really positions where you were in really good luck, you wouldn't be there either.
Google Earth and type in Little St. James. Beautiful. Isn't that nice? Behind closed doors, it's beautiful. In public, we'll hear about what a monster this guy is, right? But behind closed doors, when nobody's watching, oh, it's beautiful. There's some other stuff Peter Attia said, which I'm not going to.
Pussy is indeed low carb. Peter Attia. Let me see what that headline was. Peter Attia. Galveston menopause doctor pulls out of CBS spot over Attia Epstein scandal. Oh, that's a different doctor. TV doctors boycott CBS for standing by Epstein's twisted doctor pal Peter Attia. Longevity movement faces scrutiny as key figure Dr. Peter Attia named in the Epstein files. What's keeping Dr. Peter Attia up at night? A new sleep study seeks to find out. I know what it is. It's the Epstein files. Barry Weiss is agonizing over Peter Attia's Jeffrey Epstein mess. So it was a different doctor that pulled out of a CBS spot over Peter Attia. It doesn't look like he's faced any retribution yet. But he did claim that he tried to get Epstein to provide free counseling for all of his victims when he found out about them.
To get into. I don't think it's very, appropriate for medical professionals to be saying such things, but, this wasn't all business, right? This wasn't just doctor-patient kind of stuff. There's a lot of guy talk, a lot of banter between the fellas.
That's what bothers me now, looking back, when I had that mentality, when I would look down on people and be like, man, if you just get up and get a fucking job like me, but not even thinking about like a couple things in your life could just, like, I could be an axe murderer with a couple bad things happen to me, or completely living under a goddamn bridge and shit. You know what I mean? Especially when you're right at that line, where fucking, hitting a piece of trash on the interstate on your way to work could literally cause you to fucking die of starvation because you don't have the money for the tire, you don't have the money for the rim, you can't get to work, you lose your job, you get thrown out, all these things just stack up because you don't have some type of fucking emergency fund or some shit. That's scary as fuck, living on the fucking razor's edge.
About ladies. And maybe that's why Peter Attia says that hopefully Jeffrey Epstein is in town when I'm back in 2 weeks. I go into Jeffrey Epstein withdrawal when I don't see him.
Peter Attia goes into withdrawal.
So guys, we're close. I mean, apparently so close that, Peter Attia goes into withdrawal when he doesn't see him. Peter Attia says, are you on
Thank you for following.
island? Jeffrey Epstein says P Beach, probably Palm Beach. And he says, what do you do when you get there? Jeffrey Epstein, guess. Peter Attia, besides that, I mean,
walking outside in the cold for 15 minutes put me in the hospital. Yeah. And that can fuck up every goddamn thing. You know what I mean? Like, especially hospital bills. Or finding out a loved one that fucking has some type of terminal illness or just a bad illness or this or that. I mean, anything, dude. Breaking a bone, it heals wrong and you're struggled and you can't work and you can't use your arm. Like, I don't know. It's so crazy how close people are. But then when you see somebody that's like homeless, you imagine that they're fucking junkies or they made all the wrong decisions and you made right ones and blah, blah, blah. My dad worked his fucking ass off, dude. Harder than I've seen many people work these days. And he was always fucking poor as could be. Like, I told you, he invented fake fundraisers and stole Krispy Kreme donuts so we could pay our lot bills.
they're not even trying to hide it, guys. This is barely code at this point. What do you do? Guess. Well, besides that, Jeffrey, we know what you do, right? So it's so funny that the FBI's like, we don't know. We can't tell what's out there. We have no evidence, right? No evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties and then proceed to dump on us a ton of evidence, at least to investigate, right? I'm not saying these people are guilty. Obviously, all of them deny, don't admit, blame other people, say other people are responsible for everything. So that is taken as a given. I'm not accusing anyone here. I'm just saying, seems like we got a few leads here, fellas. Some people to look at. Now, I want to address the fact that Peter Attia has actually responded to this whole debacle. He says the following email is what I sent my team last night. I sent a similar version to my patients as well. You put your trust, your credibility, your hard work, what we built together, and I take that responsibility seriously. You deserve a complete and honest account of what did and did not happen. I apologize. I did not get this out sooner. I wanted to be thorough. He says, I was not involved in any criminal activity. My interactions had nothing to do with his abuse or exploitation of anyone. I was never on his plane, never on his island, never present at any parties. That said, I apologize and regret putting myself in a position where emails, some of them embarrassing, tasteless, and indefensible, are now public. So it's this apology. He addresses some of the things, and he says that some of it's just banter, right? Like I said, it's just guy talk, whatever that means. He claims that his got a fresh shipment was in reference to a photograph of bottles of metformin, and then Jeffrey responded with a photograph of an adult woman. I responded with crude, tasteless banter. He says one line in that exchange about his life being outrageous and me not being able to tell anyone is being interpreted as awareness of wrongdoing. That's not how I meant it at all. What I was referring to poorly and flippantly was the discretion commanded by those socials and professional circles. The idea you don't talk about who you meet. I don't know, Peter. This seems like revisionist history a little bit. I mean, personally, to me, as I'm viewing this, third hand, right? Just from the outsider perspective. Now, Peter says he did ask Jeffrey.
To be fair, I've got him sped up some too.
About his 2008 conviction, because all this happened afterwards.
Yes, talking
he
fast.
Characterized it as prostitution-related charges in 2018. I learned that this was grossly minimized. I was incredibly.
So he knew about the 2008 conviction, but Jeffrey told him it was prostitution.
Incredibly naive to believe him, and then later explains that in 2018 November he read the Miami Herald investigative article, told him he needed to accept responsibility for what.
Remember that, November 2018. He was nauseated and marked a clear and irreversible line between what I knew before and what I understood afterward. At that point, I told him directly he needed to accept responsibility for what he did. November 2018. Surely there isn't emails of you talking to him like you guys are fucking best friends after November 2018, right?
What he did, and said he even asked Epstein to provide therapy to Epstein's victims, which is an interesting approach to have here. Now, the funny thing is, there are some more emails between Peter.
God damn it. What is the fallout from this recent story? Same as usual, just tougher.
Yeah, that we need to read, because remember that he said he read this 2018 article from the Miami Herald. I believe it's this one by Julia K. Brown in November 28th. It's about Jeffrey Epstein assembling a large cult-like network of underage girls. But in December, Peter Attia says home is very good, work stressful, making some changes. He asks him what's the fallout from the recent story, apparently talking about the Miami Herald. Now, maybe I just didn't see the emails, that where he was demanding accountability. I don't know what that's about, but Jeffrey Epstein says same as usual, just tougher. Peter Attia says legally any change. Jeffrey Epstein, 0. So, I don't know. Maybe this whole you got to provide therapy to, these victims happened. I haven't seen it yet. I definitely could see it. But it's just kind of shocking. I just kind of don't buy it. Like the whole, is there any change legally? That more sounds like you're covering yourself. Just to be honest. But maybe I could look past all of that, if not for the thing we're about to see, which just in my mind is maybe the worst thing I've seen in the files. Not for its, explicitness, the amount of simping that people did for Jeffrey Epstein. Now they all say, oh, it was a personal mistake, blah, blah, blah. I regret it. I didn't look into it enough. But the level is just, you've never seen anything like it. So remember I said I read a book by Peter Attia. It was called Outlive, and he's supposed to be this doctor who knows a lot about longevity. So he writes it, and I picked it up because at the rate we're getting rid of these crimes, I need to live forever in order to try to stop some of these scams. But as I pick up this book, and one of the things in the book is Peter Attia kind of reflecting internally about how he's kind of been a bit, and I'm paraphrasing here, but a bit of a psycho in his life, and he needed to focus on family stuff. And so he it's almost a confessional of some embarrassing things in his life. And honestly, it comes off as very vulnerable, very self-reflective. He's this doctor telling other people what to do, but he's not a very good patient. That's kind of how it comes off. And one of the stories is awful. I won't go too much into it, but basically his son has this horrible medical emergency. It's described in this book like this. A few months ago, Tuesday, July 11, 2017, that date is important. At 5:45 to be exact, I received a call from Jill, my wife. She was in an ambulance with our infant son. Now, again, I'm not going to get into the details here because, it's tragic and I'm not trying to bring that into it. What is relevant is that Peter Attia talks about how he stayed in New York and didn't show up because he was...
So his son, infant child, was having this horrible medical emergency and he stayed working in New York. Now he says he shouldn't have done this, right? But he stayed busy with his important work. What was he really doing?
Quote, busy with his important work. Even today, just thinking about what happened, I feel nauseous about my behavior. I can't believe I did that to my family. Now, at the time I read that and I was like, well, it's at least as good that you self-reflected on that. It's horrible, but yeah, you were a bit of a psycho. But what's crazy? Now we find out some of the important work. It's a little unclear, but some of the important work may have been Jeffrey Epstein, which is just, it's so dark.
A couple of days later, he was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein.
Hard to imagine.
Instead of going to tend to his infant son having a medical emergency.
He says July 11th, 2017 is when this all happened. And then he says he did not come home to San Diego until Friday the following week, 10 days later. So July 11th, 2017, 2 days after this happens, he's talking to Jeffrey Epstein. And they seem to be coordinating about something. Sure, what time? Jeffrey Epstein, 9:30. Peter Attia responds, sure, I can come earlier. Also, if you have a hard stop at 10, let me know.
Yeah, so his infant son had stopped breathing, had no heartbeat, and they were actively giving him CPR to keep him alive.
You're hanging out with Jeffrey? I don't even know what to say. This is out of pocket. There's no explanation for.
He stayed in New York for another 10 days doing his important work, like hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein, before going home to check on his son.
I didn't see this in the response from Peter. Maybe he thinks he addresses it because he already admitted that was like scummy, but that is just. There's a reason that didn't make it into the book. That's what I'm trying to say. I didn't see that in the book when I read it. I was actually, one of the things I needed to do, my important work was seeing or talking to Jeffrey Epstein. Isn't that weird?
Dude, if I had the ability, like I would I might not even be able to afford a flight, but I would definitely drive the fuck home. I would definitely get home. I would hitchhike home, something. If my son was having a medical emergency, are you shitting me? But if I was in his position, uber fucking wealthy, you couldn't stop me. If I had to hijack the fucking plane, goddamn box cutter style, I'd be there.
That's the simping that I'm talking about, is these people love this guy. Or that's how it seems to me. What are all these rich and powerful people doing, protecting him, missing emergencies for Jeffrey, fawning over Jeffrey, asking for Jeffrey's harem, saying their biggest problem is the life they lead is so outrageous they can't tell. So, what is going on here? And is it true they all didn't know, right? Because, I'm reading these documents.
So Peter Attia says your lifestyle outrageous. It's a shame I can't share it with more people. He's saying, oh, I meant you don't talk about wealthy, powerful people you hang out with. I didn't mean like he fucked a bunch of children.
And it's hard to say who exactly knew what, when. But I
Bad
don't
take,
believe,
bro.
remember, they're all denying it. I don't believe nobody knew, right? Clearly, some people knew what was going on, and there's all this kind of coded language in the files where they talk about this stuff almost in like a nudge kind of way. I mean, here's some Woody Allen stuff. He was in the files. He says his business office, if you can make out the check to me, it looks very bad because then it looks like a gift to me. He says that to Epstein. He says, I don't want to be one of your women, or should I say, girls. And what's that? Oh, how do we... Come on, guys. Woody says, I would be much more expensive than your girls. You wouldn't be able to afford me. Jeffrey responds, yes, the price to pay would be too high. Woody says, this will be a beautiful friendship. And then Jeffrey says, as long as I follow orders, smiley face. Woody Allen sends a message saying, Woody says the exact same thing, but in a dirtier way. Jeffrey responds, what did he say? Woody Allen, are you kidding? I can't put it in writing. I mean, no evidence? Got no evidence. Come on, I think I see a little bit of evidence. I'm squinting, but I think I can see a little bit of evidence. I mean, guys, like Jeffrey Epstein right here, where he's talking to a guy, he says, Paris with Woody, and the person responds, for le pedophile convention. And Jeffrey says, I think pedophile is the plural. I mean, no evidence.
Me and Woody Allen are going to Paris for Le Pedophile Convention. I think pedophile E is the plural for multiple pedophiles.
I mean, is that no evidence? That's nothing. We don't even want to question these people. There's no investigations going on. So, yeah, it's honestly really sad to see how, look, I'm not saying people around the world are having crazy consequences, but a few people are resigning, thank goodness. You know, a few people are at least facing a little bit of scrutiny, but here Elon Musk lays out the playbook, apparently for our guys. You know, we admit nothing, we deny everything, and we blame others. We just push the spotlight onto other people, and unfortunately, that's what you've seen the whole time from all the people in the files. You know, all of them say, oh, I was so happy these files came out. It's about shining accountability and justice for the victims, but I had nothing to do with it. Okay, so then where's the justice for the victims? So nobody, you know, all of you say somebody else had something to do with it, but everybody says nobody had anything to do with it. The FBI says they don't have any other, you know, investigations, any other kind of leads, despite the fact we have one of the procurers of the women just walking free, apparently, like no charges against him. Have we investigated him? I mean, it's just shocking how much the Epstein files show the powerful, how they protect their own, how so many of them knew what was going on, to the extent they found out later. A lot of them tried to protect Epstein, like literally make PR campaigns for his reputation. And this is a dark look at the state of the world, honestly, because Epstein happened a while ago, but the reason everyone cares is because there's other Epsteins around, right? There's other people evading accountability all the time. There's other people that this band of billionaires and power brokers and PR people, even lawmakers, they circle the wagons and protect their own to the point you can never get accountability for anything. So anyway, that's it. It's a hard look at the Epstein files, but it's one we needed to do. But I want to make the disclaimer once again that, look, I've tried to read people's individual denials where I could, but you should just assume everyone that we are talking about firmly denies any kind of criminal wrongdoing. They deny anything untoward about any kind of minors. And given the fact that our government doesn't seem to...
What are they going to say? Yeah, I was a pedo too.
Assume everybody here is completely clear. And so I want to get all those caveats in here because we are talking about some very powerful people with enormous means. And I don't want to be seen as I'm saying stuff. I'm reading the files. I'm giving my personal opinion. But ultimately, this is an indictment of our FBI and the people in power. And that's what I think the Epstein files have really shown us. This has been a long road. Can you believe it all started over here? And we have come all this way with all these files coming out. And it seems like the question is on the table. Are there going to be consequences?
Is there any chance that any of these individuals who partied with Epstein and engaged in relations with minors will be prosecuted? Any chance?
I'll never say no, and we will always investigate any evidence of misconduct. But as you know, it is not a crime to party with Mr. Epstein, and so as horrible as it's not a crime to email with Mr. Epstein. And some of these men may have done horrible things, and if we have evidence that allows us to prosecute them, you better believe.
I searched my last name in the Epstein files. All it comes up is Morgan Bird. I'm trying to figure out if we're related. Please, God, be related. I know they got money. They do something for the Deutsche Bank, Associate Deutsche Bank Trust Company, National Association Deutsche Asset and Wealth Management. Come on, Uncle Morgan, where you at?
We will, but it's also the kind of thing that the American people need to understand, that it isn't a crime to party with Mr. Epstein. It isn't a crime to have...
Didn't look like that's all that was going on some of those photos. I mean, if the photos could speak, some of them look pretty bad.
That's right, and unfortunately, photos can't speak.
Damn it. What is this? Dillon, Colorado. Is this a live webcam in Colorado? There's over 200 people watching this motherfucker. What is going on in Dillon, Colorado? The fuck? Why are 200 people watching Dillon, Colorado? Bort. Bort is mentioned in 23 emails. Bort Lynch mentioned in even more emails. 300? Damn, Bort. Oh, Bort posted something. It was like, when is he going to be back? That's for the audience to decide. Hold on, let me go see what that was. You guys keep an eye on Dylan for me. I don't know what's going down there, but I'm over here doing something. Okay? Remember where we parked in Dylan. Burt Lynch, digital creator. Here we go. Hey, so he posts this. Hey, Burt, when are you going live again? Well, from what I see from the audience, ... Then Robert Land hops in the comments and says, it's going to be a bit before Bort goes live again. Hopefully it won't be long. Trying to get help taking care of things. Try to pay his bills and not get evicted? Sure. By the way, he made a post that says, okay, here it is. Don't believe the lies. I have not been evicted, although that could happen if things don't improve. No one claimed you were evicted. No one claimed that you were already out and you had been evicted. The process has been started, and you cannot deny that. That's public record. You can't say that doesn't exist. It does exist. We can all fucking pull it up on the internet, okay? Don't believe the fucking lies. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. How long has he been at this new lease? Like 2 months? Thanks for... Where did we park at? Oh, yeah, in Dillon, right? Dillon, Colorado. What a weird live stream, dude. I don't want to contribute to this anymore. I feel like this is funding terrorism around the globe. We got a new movie for movie night, potentially. Let me know if you guys want to watch this one. The Unbreakable Boy.
This Christian autism film is filled with lies.
I want those.
And uses autism as a tool to sell a story about a terrible father.
You are not the worst person ever.
Third month.
As an imaginary friend.
My dad's imaginary friend.
That might be God.
Are you God?
I have so many problems with movies like this, but my biggest issue is when a movie uses something like autism to sell a generic story about an alcoholic dad. My other problem is with the title, Unbreakable Boy, more like exceptionally breakable. But get ready, because this one's a tearjerker. They lose their trash bins.
They took them.
They took our trash bins, Teresa.
The story follows Scott, a deadbeat dad who decided to write a book in 2014 called The Unbreakable Boy that would later be used to make this awful movie. The movie opens up with Austin saying,
This story is based on true facts. Lots of true facts.
Except it's not, because most of the major elements of the movie are complete fiction. The opening scene depicts Scott taking his 2 kids to a New Year's Eve party, where he proceeds to get absolutely plastered, and then drives his kids home.
Did you guys have a good time?
Into a tree.
Oh, I didn't even know there's an ad break. I try to keep the ad breaks spread out and pretty short, to be honest with you. I didn't know there was one in going on. Sorry. I try to keep them short, but that's how I pay for the office. But I try to keep them short and spread out pretty good.
But keep in mind, this isn't in the book and never actually happened. It's just a complete lie made up for the film. But while they're driving home, Austin's narration interrupts the film and hard cuts to what the entire movie's actually about. Here he hits on Teresa while she's at work like he's been scrolling through red-pilled videos for too long.
Do you work on commission?
I do.
Great, then I'd like to buy 4 pairs of these pants if you would consider going to dinner with me.
If you're a strange man asking a woman out you've never met before, make sure you handle it like some sort of monetary transaction. They freaking love that. Unfortunately, she agrees to just have coffee with him, but Scott does this.
I said coffee, like coffee shop.
Oh yeah, no, this
It's called The Unbreakable Boy. We watch weird Christian movies sometimes.
Don't worry, I checked.
Well, wait, none of that actually happened because it was all made up for the movie. So nothing you've seen so far have been
true facts.
What is true, though, is that Scott has an imaginary friend that he talks to throughout the entire movie and in real.
that he's not even making this up. That was the claim of this book that it's based on, that this dad, who was a raging alcoholic and violent, had an imaginary friend since childhood that he visually saw and spoke to.
Life. I often traded jabs with an imaginary friend I had since I was a kid. Reads his book. I only bring this up because throughout the entire film, Scott is unable to understand or even relate to Austin because of his autism. All the while, Scott's best friend is an invisible delusion that can help him move furniture.
Okay. There's his imaginary friend moving a mattress with him.
Eventually, we find out that Teresa is pregnant. They move in together, and then she lets Scott know that she has a genetic condition.
I have a condition called osteogenesis imperfecta,
which means I was born with glass bones and paper skin. Shortly.
Really, so it does mean that their kid is born with like they're really easy to break bones, right? And the dad like kind of freaks out about that, but learns to like work around it. Okay. Then they find out the kid is autistic and he has like a fucking breakdown. I think it's shitty. Like, you've seen people do this. He's going to talk about it in a second. I've seen people do this. I think it's shitty when people are like, God gave me an autistic kid because he needed to make me better. He wanted to challenge me. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, the only reason that an autistic kid could exist is to make you a better person by putting that burden on top of you.
After Austin is born, they find out that he has this condition too. And basically Scott's like, my son's bones are made of styrofoam? Well, at least he's not autistic. The next few minutes of the film is dedicated to all the interesting ways in which Austin can break every bone in his body.
Austin. Hey.
And I'm sorry, but this one's just a little bit funny.
Strawberry milk.
He's good.
But this one's not, when Scott decides to put Austin on a swing.
Do you want to fly?
And then falls on top of him, shattering his spine.
Austin, no!
For some reason, he puts the kid on the swing for the first time because they've been like handling the kid gloves. He gets on the swing with him, then falls on him and breaks his spine.
But this is where things get bad, in Scott's opinion, when they find out that Austin is neurodivergent. And even after they find out about his autism, they still treat him bad. Like when his imaginary friend can be seen putting earmuffs on because Austin's talking too much. Or here, when both parents can be seen playing rock, paper, scissors to tell Austin to shut up. The next 45 minutes of the film is spent watching Scott go through AA, only to realize that...
You're a cliche!
Well, yeah, but also to find God and realize that God gave Scott an autistic son for his own personal growth.
He didn't need me to fix him. I needed him to fix me.
You mean Scott's son wasn't a curse? That's right, because we love perpetuating the myth that your special needs son only exists to teach you how to not be an asshole. This Christian autism film...
It's a pretty good movie, to be honest with you. Okay. Winter Olympics gearing up, right? We had, what's her name, go down with, she had torn her ACL, but still decided to compete with like a brace and stuff. And it did not do very well. She went down during practice day. What was her name? Vaughn? But that's not what I want to talk about. I did see her crash. It looked bad. What would you think? So doping is obviously an issue with the Olympics, right? What would you think that the current scheme for doping in the Winter Olympics is? Male skiers, long jump skiers, are injecting their penis with hyaluronic acid to enlarge it, to get a larger suit that's more aerodynamic in the crotch area. Because the rules say the suit has to be tight-fitting even around the genitalia, and it has like how much loose fabric they can have. So they make their penis larger just for the suit measurements. Then they remove, or they don't enlarge their penis, and it gives them an extra flap that makes them go farther when they jump. It's the long jump.
Wonder what Olympic doping officials are currently investigating? Whether male ski jumpers are artificially enlarging their penises to cheat. Nope, I'm not kidding. The German newspaper Bild raised concerns about athletes manipulating the 3D body scanning measurements used to size competition suits. Ski jumpers wear skin-tight suits that are carefully measured to ensure there's no extra material that could provide more lift during flight. The crotch area can only extend to
See how the crotch area would almost make like imagine, so you've seen a wingsuit before. So imagine like you just had a piece of material that goes from here to here. Well, obviously you're going to go further. They're probably manipulating it by a minuscule amount, but still it's some, right? Like if you had your ankles connected and all this was filled in with material, obviously that'd be a huge benefit. But if you just take that same logic and make it smaller and smaller and smaller, you're getting some benefit.
the bottom of an athlete's genitals. According to the paper's report, some athletes
I swear to God, your dick better be the same size on competition day. We got a guy who holds it, and he knows. By the way, I lay awake at night sometimes thinking about an old man that is at the Military Entrance Processing Station, MEPS, that has you in your underwear, nothing else, drop your boxers, bend over and spread your ass cheeks so he can look at your asshole with a flashlight. How many assholes has this old man seen? When I processed through MEPS, there was probably 5,000 people going through. How many assholes? And what does he do with it? I've never had any other physical. I've never had any other doctor have me bend over, hinged at the waist, and spread my ass cheeks so he could look at my butthole. This is the only guy that does it. And apparently he does it for everybody. That's it, or I was a special little boy. What do you think his dinner conversation's like? You should have seen the two assholes that come in today.
Injecting hyaluronic acid to temporarily enlarge the penis, which would also allow for a larger, more aerodynamic suit. The World Anti-Doping Agency
I almost had Mariah convinced you could count the rings on it. Flip that son of a bitch over and count the rings.
is exploring whether this alleged practice constitutes doping. Last year, Norway's Olympic medalists were suspended for secretly adjusting the seams around the crotch area of their suits at the 2025 World Ski Championships. 3 coaches were also banned. Head to Reuters.com for updates.
So they do a 3D body scan to make sure everybody's suits like fair, and these guys are just making big old fucking dicks, dude. It seems like, well, I'm just going in there with a raging boner and a smile on my face. Right? Just watching porn in the waiting room. And then when you get it, they got to build a little tent around me now, right? What are they going to do? Make me hold it down? Tuck it up to my belly button? No, I'm going in there proud. Then we got all kinds of extra fabric. At least 4 inches of extra fabric.
Hey, what's up, Jeff? You guys partying in there? You guys having a totally wicked party? Yeah, I love to party. I love partying so much. You got room for one more?
I don't know, Elon. We've already got a lot of people here. I don't know if there's room for one more.
Who is that at the door? Is that Elon Musk? Gosh, that guy is such a dork.
Is Bill Gates in there? You know I can smell you in there, Bill. You slimy, stinky fucking nerd. I'm gonna come get you.
Oh shit, hide me.
You guys are listening to music. Yeah, I love music. What song is this?
It's called Seabed by Hudson Mohawk.
That song totally sucks.
Elon, this is one of the greatest songs of all time. What counts as music to you?
I like all types of music, like water dripping from a faucet. Yeah, that's peak music.
Jeff, close the fucking door. Frankly, I don't want any losers in here.
Yeah, close the door. And I'm Bill Clinton, and I'm in here too. Haha, yeah.
Whatever. You guys are lame. I'm gonna go to space one day, and there's gonna be Martian bitches. Yeah, that's right. Martian bitches everywhere. Yeah, you'll see. Hey, what's up, Jeff?
The way he fucking slides in from the side. Then one of my favorite clips popped up today, so I had to share it with you guys. God, I love this bitch for calling out Andrew.
But Charlie, I just think, honestly, you're too fucking stupid to understand them.
So, Andrew, can I sell you on my worldview?
Yes.
Your wife has 3 baby daddies and has been married twice before.
And you...
Damn, dude. Damn. That hits so fucking hard because he preaches this red pill, get them young, get them virgins, be the super fucking alpha Chad that all the virgins want to throw their pussy at while you've already fucked hundreds of bitches, but she has to be a virgin to wife her up. Your wife has 3 babies and 2 baby daddies. The fuck are you talking about, bitch?
But Charlie, I just think, honestly, you're too fucking stupid to understand.
He fucking flips out too. He's like, you lick pussy. He calls it sniz.
So, Andrew, can I sell you on my worldview?
Yes.
Your wife has 3 baby daddies and has been married twice before.
And you...
Damn!
You lick sniz.
Under your religion.
Uh-huh. You lick sniz.
What is that?
You're a...
Look how troubled he is.
Look, you stupid.
Look.
Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your stupid mouth.
Your wife with the 3 baby daddies.
Snowflake.
Wife?
Your wife with the 3 baby daddies?
With the
that wife? Oh, I'm sorry. Is she morally inconsequential in comparison to your ditch licking?
Do the men that you
ditch licking
try to...
Do the women that you try
show
to...
your hatred against...
Do the women that you try
to... them that they shouldn't...
You know, Charlie, did I bring...
Women? Do they know
Charlie,
that
did
your
I bring
wife
your
is 5
family?
years older?
Did I bring any of your family in?
Stupid.
You can't preach. It's like Rolo, the godfather of like the red pill or whatever. Like his wife, wasn't a virgin, has been with many. I don't know if it's like their weird fantasy that they have to propel on fucking teen boys, but they didn't even live that way. They don't live that way.
Did I say anything about your family being stupid, Charlie?
You could.
It's
You could
because
go
I'm
for it.
better than you, Charlie.
No, it's because you're embarrassed and you know that the traditional values that you try to sell people on are bullshit because
Let's
you
go
are not
through
a
it.
traditional man.
She laser eyed him. She homelandered him. She was just like, Andrew, your wife is a... She just like laser eyed him. Oh my God.
But Charlie, I just
destroyed him. That's my favorite clip of Andrew Wilson. 100%. That's my favorite clip. What's Tim Dillon got? Hold on.
Friend of the show, Cash Patel. Let's see what he got out of it.
Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday.
He trafficked women to himself and blackmailed himself.
That he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the file.
In the case.
You don't have to be the director of the FBI to see that this guy's trafficking women. He's trafficking underage women.
Based.
You don't have to be the... So...
Based at
Cash
Suko.
Patel's a liar. He's a big, fat liar. He's a liar, and he should resign and step down because he's lying. Why is he lying? Why would he tell such a fib? That is a lie. It is a lie, and he's bad at it. He's terrible at it. And he is a bad liar. It was a lie when he said it. And now it's such a lie, it's actually funny. It's like a junkie who's like, no, man, I'm just tired. Like, we know you're on drugs. He's lying, and he knows he's lying, and he does that thing. When you're a liar, you're like, you kind of have an out-of-body experience where you go, is this working? You can see. There's a moment. Play it again, and I'll show you exactly where the moment is where he's curious if it's working. Cash Patel.
One, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information.
Besides himself.
None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday.
Now watch closely.
Watch closely. Trafficked to other individuals, and the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
Okay. Now, President Trump...
the information that we have. So he knows he's lying. When he says that, he goes, the information that we have. He knows he's lying, and he's wondering, hey, is this working? Is this going well? Am I lying effectively? Let me specify what I mean. The information that we have. Now, we know that he has all the information that we have and more, and much more. Now, it is obvious to anyone that this guy was a human trafficker. He was trafficking women to this island. And now it gets dark because these files talk about torture. They talk about, they say disgusting, heinous things. The littlest girl was really naughty. Then they're talking about torture.
They do put some people under oath. They don't put others. It's actually up to the fucking, the committee chair. Whatever committee's having you testify, it's actually up to the chair to whether they put you under oath or not.
They're talking about pizza. Remember Pizzagate that was all fake? Everybody's going they're all talking about pizza. It's weird. It is odd. It is strange. And these are code words. We know that. They're actually code words for pedophilia. So it's like, I've gotten calls from people going, wait a minute. Am I crazy, or am I now in QAnon? Now, maybe you're not in the far reaches of QAnon, which is like Biden died and was replaced by a clone, or, you know what I mean? That's hardcore QAnon, but I think we're all QAnon light. We are all QAnon light right now.
We're all QAnon light.
Thank you for a fun night. Your littlest girl was a little naughty. That's to Jeffrey Epstein from a redacted name. These redacted names are the pedophiles.
No, they're the victims. Those redacted names are the victims. That's the only names they were allowed to redact, remember?
That the United States government is protecting. These redacted names are the pedophiles that the U.S. government is protecting. Who are these people? Who are these people? Friend of the show, Cash Patel, let's see what he got out of it.
Who, if anyone...
It's getting bad out here. Getting bad. You want to know what the administration's been up to the last couple of days? This. You know who Medgar Evers is?
Says Medgar.
His home is like a national monument, right? Medgar Evers. He was a civil rights activist who was brutally murdered in his home. That wasn't the only time violence was brought to him or his home, but he was basically murdered. His family had a plan what to do. His wife comes out and discovers him there. They're saying that you cannot call his murderer a racist. They're removing all the documentation from this national park that is his home and removing the word racist out of it.
The Trump administration says Medgar Evers' assassin can't be called a racist. Mississippi Today's Jerry Mitchell is reporting the National Park Service is removing brochures from the Medgar and Merle Evers Home National Monument.
I'm sorry. That was me. That was his home. I wanted to pause it.
Says Medgar Byron Della Beckwith is removing brochures from the Medgar and Merle Evers Home National.
He was shot right here underneath there. They call it a garage or the carport or whatever. He was shot here. She came out, found him laying in a puddle of blood. The guy who shot him was clearly racist, a Klansman, and he was let go. The jury wouldn't convict him until years and years later when they brought him back to trial.
Monument that call his murderer, Byron Della Beckwith, a quote, member of the Racist and Segregationist White Citizens Council. Plans are to remove the word racist from new brochures, according to park officials who asked not to be named for fear of retribution. Other changes are also expected, including the removal of a reference to Evers lying in a pool of blood in his driveway. The Park Service's decision comes in the wake of President Trump's 2025 executive order titled Restoring Truth and Sanity to American History. The order accuses
They also just took down the other day from that park all the stuff about the slaves and the slave owners and all that shit.
the previous administration of rewriting history and directs the Interior Secretary to replace or revise signs that, quote, perpetuate a false reconstruction of American history. But there are a number of undeniable facts in this story. In a pair of 1964 trials, the Citizens Council provided Beckwith with 3 top criminal defense attorneys free of charge. During one of those trials, segregationist Governor Ross Barnett was seen shaking hands with Beckwith. The all-white, all-male juries in those trials remained deadlocked. Beckwith returned home to Greenwood. In a 1967 campaign for lieutenant governor, he told crowds he believed in, quote, absolute white supremacy under white Christian rule. In 1973, he was arrested in New Orleans when police caught him with a ticking time bomb he planned to use to blow up a Jewish leader's home.
He was literally busted years later with a time bomb that was already set to go off that he was taken to a Jewish leader's home.
And he was a known member of the nation's most violent white supremacist group, the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. They were responsible for at least 10.
He was an admitted member of the KKK.
Killings in Mississippi.
I didn't kill Medgar, but he's sure dead. He ain't coming back.
I didn't kill him, but he's sure dead. He ain't coming back.
Beckwith had a motive for murder. Police knew it went beyond simple hatred. For years, he penned a steady stream of racist letters to local newspapers and the NRA, including one written just 6 months before Evers' death. Gentlemen, for the next 15 years, we here in Mississippi are going to have to do a lot of shooting to protect our wives, children, and ourselves from bad Negroes.
He also called Evers a
can't call him racist,
mongrel, and black people beasts. In 1994, a jury convicted Beckwith of Evers' murder in Jackson. He was sentenced to life in prison. Thursday, February 5th, marks the 32-year anniversary of that conviction. A conviction only made possible after Mississippi authorities reopened the case when it was discovered the Sovereignty Commission, Mississippi's segregationist spy agency, was secretly assisting Beckwith's defense. The Evers family is responding to the changes made by the National Park Service at the home. A Park Service spokesperson has not responded to Mississippi Today's request for comment. For the full story, visit MississippiToday.org. The Trump
pretty fucking insane to try to whitewash that, right? Pretty fucking insane. Medgar Evers. Medgar Evers may have been huge. Like, he was a very prominent civil rights leader, but he was just killed when he was on the start of it, right? Could have been as big as like Martin Luther King or something. Nope, he wasn't racist though. That's for sure. That's the one thing he wasn't. Can't call him racist. The fuck is wrong with people, dude? What is this?
And then there's a bit with Melania in the car when Brett Ratner from Off Camera asks her, who's your favorite musician? And she's like, Michael Jackson, Mr. Red. And then the guy puts Billie Jean on, and she is singing it and clearly doesn't know the words.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, Billie Jean is not my brother. It's like, he's just a squirrel. It's going all night long. But the audio's on, so you can't, but if you're reading the lips, she doesn't know what she's talking about.
This is a great way to spend $70 million if you got it.
Yes, and also it makes you a clown of a human being. Bezos kissing the ring is offensive and it's gross.
Can you imagine that maybe the $70 million that Amazon pays for this film is one, maybe this could be a good decision, but also maybe this is just the cost of doing business. Maybe doing this film allows you the room to be able to hold your ground in other places that are more consequential.
It's $30 million in her pocket.
Yeah.
That's a payoff.
You're bribing the first lady. It's embarrassing. You are like doing an extravagant ring kiss. You're rich enough to say, you know what? That shit's not worth it.
And then there's a bit with Melania in the car when Brett Ratner from Off Camera.
This was part 2. I wonder if they did a part 1.
This is the first showing of the Brett Ratner Melania documentary. There are 10 people here. 9 of them are journalists. One is a friend of somebody who's a designer on the film set. Yeah, that was a mess of a movie. It was basically a long dress fitting for Melania Trump. Third Bezos shot. Fourth Bezos shot. Nothing crooked about this at all. And it is interesting to find out that Donald Trump is exactly the same with journalists as he is with his wife. He's telling I want every state, and she's like, clearly disinterested.
I haven't seen it.
landslide.
That's for sure.
Looks like it's going to be about 312 to 226.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a big win.
Yeah.
It's just these long, boring shots of her going from a helicopter to a car, and then her sitting in a car, and then getting her clothes tailored. Everyone's afraid of her. There's like no warmth.
Our mission is to safeguard our children.
It kind of was like a subtly anti-Trump movie.
Our children.
It kind of was like a. There's like no warmth.
Our mission is to safeguard our children.
It kind of was like a subtly anti-Trump movie, because every time Donald Trump was on screen, he was kind of being ridiculous.
Beautiful art and amazing history here.
Take a look at this. Floyd Monet.
Did you just call him Floyd Monet? It's just her walking around for 3 days doing what she does. And guess what? What she does is really boring. This is the first show. I did a story about somebody making stuff up about Bob Dylan.
Oh my God. You guys remember, hold on. I forgot that I didn't cut. You guys remember John Rocker, right? John Rocker, who is an MLB pitcher whose career was basically ended for his super racist comments that he just let a journalist record, right? He was just like being like super racist. This journalist went down to do a piece on him for a magazine, and he's just like outright racist, doing crazy racist things. Okay? It was this journalist right here. I found the original Rocker interview tapes.
But I say to John Rocker, who I'm sure will see this, I have the tapes. If you ever want to go over them, if you ever want me to put them on social media so you can play them for your supporters. And
like, he was a really good pitcher, but he was just like, turned out he was a piece of shit, and his dad was super racist and shit too. I think this is the story behind it.
And my first sign that I'm with a slightly deranged individual is there's a car in front of us and it's driving erratically. And Rocker goes to me, fucking Asian women, they can't fucking drive. And we pass the car and it's a white man driving the car. We get to a toll booth, and it's a toll booth where they used to have like a net where you throw your change in. Well, John Rocker throws the change in and the gate doesn't go up. Throws more change in, the gate doesn't go up. Guy behind us starts honking. John Rocker rolls down his window, leans back, puts up his middle finger and goes, fuck you. Finally, I don't know how, the gate opens and John Rocker hawks a loogie onto the side, the change collector. Hawks a loogie onto the change collector. We're driving. It has been arranged that I will accompany John Rocker as he speaks to disadvantaged kids at a school in Bumblefuck, Georgia. And I'm with him. And we're driving. And at one point I say to him, so do you enjoy doing these? Do you enjoy doing these appearances? Fuck no, man. I fucking hate this shit. My agent wants me to do it. Like, I fucking want to do this shit. Blah, blah, blah. We're driving along.
His only defense was he thought this is all off the record.
And my first sign, I'm in the Baltimore Orioles club.
Anyways, John Rocker, this guy busts him as being a super racist. He comes back, writes the piece, and he's like, John Rocker's like a piece of shit, like super racist. He yelled a bunch of racist slurs at like people, like he was a real piece of shit. John Rocker has resurfaced. And what do you think he's doing?
I'm sure we'll see.
What do you think John Rocker's doing now? That he resurfaced years after basically nobody wanted to touch him because he was so fucking racist. What do you think he's doing now?
Oh, yay.
Showing up at daycares owned by brown people and demanding to see the kids.
Unga! I'm getting screamed at in some kind of Swahili. Here, come here. Filming them. Oh. All right, here we go. Here comes the fucking costume. My wife dropped my son off at this location. I need to come pick him up for a doctor's appointment. Yeah? Yes, here. So what's his name? LeBron. LeBron? We don't have that time. No, unless my wife's lying to me.
No, I'm not an officer. I'm
I need any evidence if you have any evidence.
Evidence? No, I'm a reporter.
No, absolutely no.
They got my kid in there, LeBron. Something I'm not good with.
Maybe you can provide insight or information.
That's not your job. We have a license. Ask them. Go to the online and ask our license. This is not your job.
No, it is my job to investigate the use of public funds.
Show me if you have evidence. I'm not going to give you any.
I don't need permission. I'm a citizen of Ohio, and I'm a taxpayer, and I'm actually here as an investigative reporter simply to ask you if you receive government funding, if you've been visited, and what your impression is of the allegations.
There's a worse one. Hold on, this one.
You want to go with that instead of...
Hello? Housekeeping? I got mint for pillow. There's the door shithead.
Open the door, shithead. Then he says, "You think this door is bulletproof?" He says, "Open the door, shithead." Then says, "You think this door is bulletproof?"
There's the door shithead. This door's bulletproof. Probably getting ready to find out. Actually,
I'm getting ready to find out.
They can't chunk a spear through this thing, can they?
If you don't know, spear chuckers is super, super, super fucking racist to say to brown people, right? That's what the white supremacists use to like reduce them to fucking indigenous people in Africa or whatever. And that's what he says. You don't think they could chuck a spear through this door, could they? He's a disgusting piece of shit, dude. And people are cheering him on. The top comment says, "He was called all kinds of names, never a liar. John Rucker is my hero." Laughing emotes. Someone says, "We know why he wants to see the kids." Hey, I'm in Columbus and know 3 of my area that are open and empty. No parents dropping kids off. No one in the parking lots. Don't know how he was racist in this video. They're sharing this meme. I'm sorry, what made him racist?
Actually, they can't chunk a spear through this thing, can they? I should have said that. I should have said that right there.
And again, with the rats on.
Locks are brand new, though.
Teachers want it. You should say you're here for the teachers go.
You want to go with that instead of...
What a piece of shit, dude. What a piece of shit. He claimed it was a hit job. When he was first interviewed, he claimed it was a hit job. He claimed all these things. You know, he was just a piece of shit.
On our show back in November, may have outraged Met fans. It was the comments he made to Sports Illustrated writer Jeff Pearlman that caused a national...
At full blast. I remember seeing this article years later, but I saw it.
Rocker told SI he would never play for a New York...
And he had a fucking amazing arm and shit, dude. Like, insane.
York team. Here's a recap of his most inflammatory remarks. Quote, "Imagine having to take the number 7 train to the ballpark, looking like you're riding through Beirut, next to some kid with purple hair, next to some AIDS."
So he says, imagine having to take the number 7 train to the ballpark, looking like you're riding through Beirut, next to some kid with purple hair, next to some queer with AIDS, right next to some dude who just got out of jail for the 4th time, right next to some 20-year-old mom with 4 kids. It's depressing.
Next to some dude who just got out of jail for the 4th time. Right next to some 20-year-old mom with 4 kids. It's depressing.
Yeah, nobody wants fraud. Like, if it's actual fraud, investigate it, bring up charges. Let's not create a fucking mob and just scream fraud because you didn't see kids at the exact time you were there, or just fraud because it's Somalis. Like, Nick Shirley literally claimed that he was investigating medical transportation companies and couldn't wrap it through this fucking head that they don't have an office. They drive a van all day. They just have a post office box to receive mail, and they drive a goddamn van all day with a laptop.
And about New York City itself, Rocker said, the biggest thing I don't like about
New York are the foreigners. I'm not a very big fan of foreigners. You can walk an entire block in Times Square and not hear anybody speak English. Asians and Koreans and Vietnamese and Indians and Russians and Spanish people and everybody up there. How the hell do they get into this country?
I'm not a very big fan of foreigners. You can walk an entire block in Times Square and not hear anybody speaking English. Asians and Koreans and Vietnamese and Indians and Russians and Spanish people and everything up there. How the hell do they get in this country? Since the article hit the stands, Brave Senior Vice President Henry Aaron...
And the comments on this video say, facts, though. He was annoyed before the rest of us were. I'm a huge John Rocker fan now. Well, I think I just became a John Rocker fan. He ain't a sick person. He's an observant person. He has the right to his opinion and the freedom of speech to express it. Thought I remembered this being way worse. This just sounds like his opinions, and we only know them because a writer asked. What the fuck? What the fuck did he think was going to happen after saying this? That's a one positive comment. It's amazing how accurate this is 25 years later. John Rocker is the GOAT. Accurate. Hindsight is 20/20. All facts 100%. Rocker is the man.
Said somebody who feels this way is a very sick person. The Braves have been chastised for waiting to take action. Activists have called for Rocker to go into an early retirement, and Rocker has begun mandatory psychological testing.
There's plenty of businesses that you might run that only have a P.O. box, right? Especially if you're like owner operator and one person running it. So you're doing the whole job. You don't need a fucking office. What's the office for? Like, you drive and pick up the patients, you take them to a location. What would you ever use the office for? It's silly. My fucking show has a P.O. box. It doesn't mean I'm there at my mailing address. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, John Rocker's a huge piece
but
of shit.
But I say to John Rocker, who I'm sure will see this, I have the tapes. So I'm actually, as a journalist,
I would like to hear the original tapes. I was trying to find his original interview where he talks about.
Have we talked about John Rocker on here?
John Rocker ruled.
I remember my dad being like, son, sit down. You got to watch this guy.
He was lights out.
Quote, imagine having to take the number 7 train to the ballpark. Look at
it's just some weird cut.
So I write the story about John Rocker. It came out in 1999 in Sports Illustrated. I spent the day profiling this baseball player. A really good pitcher for the Braves. He picks me up in Georgia. We're driving around. The first thing, I'm in the car with him, and there's a car in front of us driving like this erratically. And he goes, Asian women, man. Asian women cannot drive. And we go to pass the car, and it's a white guy driving the car. We get to a toll booth. It's a toll booth where they used to have like the chains baskets, like a chain collector. He throws in some money. Thing doesn't open. He throws in more money. Thing doesn't open. Guy behind us starts honking. He rolls down his window, goes, "F you," right? This is with a reporter from Sports. Okay.
It's amazing.
Thing doesn't open. He spits on the toll booth. Finally, somehow gets over, hucks a loogie on it. We're driving to a school. I'm going with him to speak to a school of disadvantaged children. It's amazing. Clearly a setup for like reporter with athlete story, right? We're driving there. I'm like, so do you like speaking to kids and disadvantaged kids? He's like, man, I hate it. But they want me to do it. That was honesty. Wait, we get there. We're at the school in Bumblefuck, Georgia. They played. Do you guys remember? You're a little younger than me, but the Twisted Sister song, "I Want to Rock."
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was his entrance song, is Rocker. I want to rock, rocker. Okay, this little school. He comes out. He speaks to him. Kids are like, yeah, he's good. John Rocker's good. We're leaving the school. It was the CD age still. There's the Twisted Sister greatest hit CD. He pops it and steals it.
They played his song at this school for his entrance song, and he steals the CD from the school.
So I write the story about
like he's a fucking, he's a goddamn lunatic, dude.
Story about John Rocker. It came out to a school. I'm going with him to speak to a school of disadvantaged.
That was honesty.
Wait, we get there. We're at the school in age still. There's the Twisted Sister greatest.
I don't know. And then his dad came out and said that this is somebody wanting attention and ruined my son's career and blah, 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 and accused. I don't know. It's fucking
I'm going to
insane.
tell now for the 7,283rd time, but I'm going to tell it. Worst human being I've probably ever been around.
The worst human being he's ever been around.
He's like, he's like, this shit's going to blow up. He's like, dude, man, that was great. Can't wait for the story. And I'm like, okay. And I was with another writer named Steve Russian.
Hold on.
I don't think there. And he is the worst human being in his car. We spend the day together, and he is the worst human being I've probably ever been around. He's like, dude, man, that was great. Can't wait for the story. And I'm like, okay. And I was with another writer named
He's like, I can't wait for this to come out. Oh, I can't wait for this to come out. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Sounds great. Yeah, John Rocker's a piece of shit, and he's still a piece of shit for showing up at goddamn daycare. It's like, what the fuck? Go home. If you think something's going on, report. And what's crazy is they all know the best way to report this is to sit across the street in your car for a month or 2 weeks or whatever and count the kids dropped off, count the kids getting picked up, and then ask to talk to somebody, call and say, hey, I'm doing a story. I'd like to speak with you about your daycare, blah, 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 whatever. When they do it, say, how many kids do you have coming in and out every day? And then say, well, I have evidence that only 3 kids showed up for a month. How do you explain that? Boom, story's done. But to show up, people think you're fucking Osh. You're beating on the door saying, show me the kids. Like, it's fucked up. It's all fucked. And they only targeted at one group of people there without ever mentioning that the head of the, he's still running around saying 86% of all fraud in Minnesota is from Somalis. Bullshit. That was one case that was headed by a white lady. That's where you're getting that stat from. Y'all are pieces of shit. All right. I'm done with my rant. That's my soapbox. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'm out of here for the night. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Happy Super Bowl night, I guess. I'm headed to the house. Mariah's got to go see her pap in the hospital tomorrow and make some decisions about his surgery. And I guess I'll be taking the kids to school and then hanging around till she gets home. So thank you guys for joining me. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. If you want to support the show to keep it going, I have to pay for the office because I currently live in a camper and the stream stuff won't fit there. So if you want to support the show and help me pay the bills, do it at this link, Just Quick Tools, or the links to the mods are posting. You can use any of those links. Leave a message. I like to thank people personally when they donate. I feel bad when I don't get a chance to thank people. So leave a message if you donate to any of those links. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show.
I feel bad for Mariah, but I can't handle my parents' death still. I can't go to the hospital. I can't do none of that. The one good thing is, like, the only people in my family that I super care about are my sisters, who will probably outlive me. So everybody I care about that was going to die is already dead, I guess. I'm next. What's up, Hegemon?
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better
yeah, he's in the same part of the hospital where my dad was. So I can't do that. No fucking way. Rip that goddamn building apart.
Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle.
Thanks, man.
Cause you ain't
Appreciate it.
seen nothing yet. I used to find clues
I should honestly be over it by now, but it was just, I don't know. I lost both my parents really close to each other, and I was really close with them. It's been years now, but I can't handle it.
I found myself in orbit strapped to an
That's my issue.
amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it."
Have a good night, guys.
Stop.
Thanks for joining us.
What?